It's time for Arkansas Travelers Baseball on the ticket. Total Sports 1380. Arkansas Travelers Baseball is brought to you by Miller Lite, ITT Technical Institute, Coca-Cola, Sonic Drive-In, BC Powder, and by Allstate Insurance. And now for the ITT Technical Institute pregame show. Let's go to the ballpark.
Stand by. Ready. Set. Go.
Live from Little Rock, Arkansas, the Arkansas Travelers are on the air. Hello again, everybody. This is Phil Elson. A very pleasant good evening to you, and welcome to Raymonder Field in Little Rock, where tonight, minor league baseball and the Texas League present the Arkansas Travelers and the El Paso Diablos in Game 4 of a 4-game series. Up here in the Gym Box, live tonight on the ticket, Total Sports 1380 on the Travs website, Travs.com. This is the ITT Technical Institute pregame show. Well, for all of the years since 1966, with the exception of 1971, the Arkansas Travelers and the El Paso Diablos have matched up in Texas League battles. Tonight is the final time that the Travs and the El Paso franchise match up, as El Paso plays the final game of this 4-game series and then heads out to a 4-game set at Frisco. They will be playing their final 4-game series in their Texas League history in Cohen Stadium in the very first 4 days of the month of September. And so the final time that the Diablos blow through Little Rock, as they'll be becoming the Springfield Cardinals for next year. And so this certainly is the passing of one of the true Texas League flagship franchises, a franchise that entered the league in 1962 and featured some of the better players and some of the better teams throughout the history of the past 40 years in this circuit. And it's too bad that the history has to end here tonight as these two longtime rivals match up. And currently, things have been going much more in the Diablos' favor when it comes to playing against the Travs, as El Paso won their 5th consecutive game against the Travs yesterday with a 5-4 win. The game was tied at 4 apiece heading into the 9th inning in a very tightly packed, very well-played ball game, and the Travs allowed the winning run to score as Scott Schneider gave up a couple of wild pitches, sending Keone Duren from second to third and then from third to home. So even with all the excitement, the Travs hit 3 home runs coming from behind. Nick Gorneau with a couple of those home runs. Still, there was a bad taste left in your mouth with the winning run scoring because of a couple of mistakes as Schneider and Jeff Mathis got their signs mixed up, and then Scott held onto a curveball a little bit too long, allowing Duren to come across the plate. It was fitting that Duren would score the winning run, as he had scored 3 of El Paso's 5 runs in the ballgame and finished the night with 4 base hits. And the Travs again offensively led by Nick Gorneau and Rudy Gomez. Gomez hit his 4th home run of the season as part of a 2-run comeback, and Nick Gorneau, who had gone into yesterday's ball game with 5 hits and 38 at-bats, teed off for a couple of solo homers, the only time this year Nick has had 2 home runs in a game. But again, it was not enough as the Travs fell for the 4th consecutive time overall. And now against the El Paso Diablos, the Travs have lost 5 consecutive ball games. And unless the Travs are going to get swept here in Little Rock for the first time in a couple of months, they're going to have to pull out a win tonight against El Paso, and they'll look to left-hander Joe Saunders, who has won both of his last starts, including an 8-3 game against the Diablos. Saunders makes his final start of the season at Raymonder Field. It'll be his 7th with the Travs, 3 wins, 2 losses, and an ERA at 6. But Saunders has pitched fairly well the last couple of times out. Remember, he's battling a bit of a tired arm when he goes into the late stages of his outings, which usually means the 4th and 5th innings, being that Saunders missed all of last year. So look for at least 5 innings out of Joe Saunders tonight. Returning to the hill for the Diablos this evening, a silver medalist in the Athens Games, Phil Stockman, who was pitching for the Australian national team. Stockman was originally born in the United Kingdom but grew up in Queensland in Australia. He made 3 appearances for the Australian national team, and of course the Aussies ended up losing in the gold medal match to the champion Cuba, but Australia really announcing their arrival into the international spotlight in international ball with the silver medal, so congratulations to them. And Stockman just came in yesterday from Athens, so he should be a little bit tired. He'll be held to only about 60 pitches as he tries to get back into the swing of professional baseball and stops worrying about his Olympic experience, in which he's actually brought the silver medal with him to the visiting clubhouse. Didn't get a chance to look at it, but that is quite amazing that Stockman has already brought that silver medal out here to Raywinter Field. Might be the first people other than his family that has a chance to look at that medal, or his teammates in the visiting dugout. So it's Stockman on the mound for the Diablos. And there's another former Olympic champion that is at the ball game tonight, and that is former light heavyweight Olympic gold medalist Leon Spinks, who makes his return to Raywinter Field, the third consecutive season that the Travs have brought former heavyweight champion Leon Spinks out to the park to meet fans and sign autographs. And Leon Spinks is at the game tonight, so if you're a boxing fan, if you'd like to come out and meet Mr. Spinks, he'll be here all game long. A very nice man, and he'll be happy to sign autographs and take photos with you. That's what we've got going on tonight at Raywinter Field. Oh, yes, and 9 innings of Traveler baseball against the El Paso Diablos. We'll have a look around the Texas League and give you our report around the circuit when the ITT Tech pregame show continues after a break on the Ticket Total Sports 1380.
Lead technician and working quality control for I supervise 4 technicians and direct the testing and calibration of products. Matthew O'Mullane earned a Bachelor of Applied Science degree in Automated Manufacturing Technology in 2002 and a Bachelor of Applied Science degree in Electronics Engineering Technology in 2003 from the ITT Tech in Indianapolis, Indiana. ITT Tech has allowed me to get to where I eventually want to go. Call 1-800-ITT-TECH or visit us on the web at itt-tech.edu. ITT Technical Institute, education for the future.
Hey guys, want another beer?
Another what?
Another beer?
I didn't have a beer. Did you have a beer? I don't think so.
Yes, you did. These beers right in front of you. Remember you ordered them from me?
Where? I remember eating wings. Yeah, the wings were good. Are you sure we drank the beer?
Right, you guys came in, you ate the wings, you drank the beer.
I was lost. Next time, try the light beer with the taste. Great tasting, pleasant memories. Really, good call. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Ed and I sell soft drinks at ball games, and he first told me about BC powder. We carry big trays and drinks up, and damn, man, it's killer. And with the backache, that tray feels heavier and heavier, and the stairs are tough on your knees. One night I was dragging, and the game wasn't half over. I told Brian he needs to BC to stop the pain fast, because it goes to work quick. BC stopped the pain, got me right back to work.
Stand by. Ready, set, go.
Returning to Raywinter Field, and thank you very much, Christy. As always, a wonderful job performing the Star Spangled Banner. Phil Elson with you here for the ITT Tech pregame show, and fans, don't forget that ITT Tech can be reached at 565-5550, or just go online to itt-tech.edu to learn about all of the curriculum available at ITT Technical Institute. All things got just a little bit closer in the East Division yesterday, with Wichita picking up a game on the Frisco Rough Riders Frisco now standing 4 games in front of the Wranglers with 9 games left to play. Last night, Wichita defeated San Antonio 3-1 with very good work by 4 pitchers, holding the Missions to only 6 base hits. Brian Bass started, went 4 innings, and then Billy Keppinger took it 2 innings from there, grabbed just a couple of base hits. Mike McDougall went an inning and a third. Jorge Vasquez closed it down with an inning and 2/3 perfect. Keppinger picked up his 3rd win of the season against 2 losses, while Vasquez saved his 17th, and the Wranglers won that game despite collecting only 7 base hits. One of them a home run by Chad Santos. That was his 20th home run of the season, now tied with Dallas McPherson for 3rd in the league in home runs. Meanwhile, there were 3 base hits from catcher Scott Walter as the Wranglers pulled to within 4 games of Frisco. Last night, the Rough Riders were defeated 8-4 by the Midland Rockhounds in a long ball game. Took about 3 hours, 20 minutes to complete. 25 base hits between the two teams. Midland's second baseman Mark Kiger led the way with 3 base hits, but Nelson Cruz also homered, his 11th of the season, and knocked in 4 runs. Stephen Obenchain pitched a scoreless relief inning for his 2nd win of the year. Josh Roop took the loss in relief of Jeff Nelson on a rehab assignment for Frisco. Roop allowed 4 runs in 6 innings and falls to 1-2. So Frisco now 4 games ahead of the Wranglers. The Tulsa Drillers mathematically eliminated in the second half. Now 8 games back. The best they can do is a tie. Tulsa last night fell to the Round Rock Express 6-0 as Round Rock picked up their 35th win of the second half and their 3rd consecutive. Another shutout for the Express. It's their league best 12th of the season. And last night it was DJ Holton going the first 7 innings for the Express, allowing only 3 hits for his 11th win of the season. Santiago Ramirez closed it out with 2 scoreless relief innings. Kevin Ory and Todd Self, each with a couple of doubles. Self knocked in a couple of runs. Ory scored twice and also knocked 2 in. Round Rock 3 games ahead of San Antonio, with the Missions dropping a game last night in the standings. Round Rock needs to get in front of San Antonio by a couple more games, and then they'll have their ticket punched for the championship series, with Round Rock winning the first half and possibly the second half. They'll become the 2nd team in a row in the West Division to win both ends, as San Antonio won the first and second half last year. Tonight in the Texas League, it's the final game of a series at Round Rock. Tulsa trying to avoid the 4-game sweep. Mike Esposito takes the hill for the Drillers with 8 wins and 6 losses against Round Rock right-hander Tim McClaskey. His record 7-7. Wichita and San Antonio battle at Wolf Stadium, with Kyle Middleton pitching for the Wranglers at 8-8. His opponent is San Antonio's Rich Dorman, whose record is 7-4. Midland and Frisco start tonight at 7:30. They did not announce their starting pitchers for that one. We'll be updating you on all the games from the Texas League as well as all the games from the majors on the Southwest Airlines out-of-town scoreboard as we go throughout the broadcast tonight. It is an overcast night here in Central Arkansas. There was a call for thunderstorms possibly during the nighttime, but that chance has now fallen. It seems that most of the storms are way off to the east. Just a little bit of rain fell on the field during the late morning and early afternoon, not enough to even think about canceling this ball game, although batting practice did not take place. Both teams knew that this game was getting in, and we are going to be playing baseball tonight. Hopefully the skies will stay above us rather than pouring, because it doesn't look like there's much of a chance for rain for the rest of the evening. Right now we'll take another break. We'll return with a look at the starting lineups as the Travs and the El Paso Diablos get ready for Game 4 of the series out here at Ray Winder on the ticket. Total Sports 1380.
White Sagney, we're out of Coke. You? All right. First one to aisle 5, how's the other? Coke, you're on. Tell Tony Stewart you jumped the green flag again. Hey, stop throwing cereal boxes at me. Whatever, stop driving my car. Yes, sir. Oh. Looks like you're buying me that Coke.
NASCAR fans have a one-track mind.
Take the Coke says I can choose a record, sir.
Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of NASCAR. Coke, real.
Slush variety. Sonic got it, others don't. The hotter it gets outside, the more choices you need to chill down on the inside. Nothing compares to Sonic's famous slushes, with classic flavors like cherry, grape, and orange. Real fresh fruit slushes like lemon, berry, strawberry, and lime. You can even mix and match flavors to create your very own slush. Or try the latest creation, our intense new Powerade slush. Available for a limited time only. So hurry into Sonic. Nobody gives you more ways to beat the heat. It's not just good, it's Sonic good.
It's baseball season again. Listen to the sounds of Arkansas Travelers baseball.
Paso around to the shortstop. Beck gets it. He goes to second for one out. Does get the first. Whack him up. A double play. Right field. Way back. You got it. There's here. Is a scoring-winning homer. The Travelers win the game.
Sound like fun.
Stand by.
Here come your Arkansas Travelers. In right field.
Travs taking the field right now, so we'll give you the starting lineups and then cut to our final break for the pregame show. El Paso at 23 and 36 has center fielder Marlon Williams leading off with a shortstop Keone Duran batting second. First baseman Jesus Cota hits third for El Paso. The cleanup man in right field, that's Carlos Quentin. DH Mike DeRosa bats fifth with a third baseman Adam Haley in the sixth spot. Catching tonight Matt Morgan at the seven hitter with second baseman Todd West batting eighth. And left fielder Victor Hall will round out the El Paso starting nine. The Arkansas Travelers have a record of 23 and 38. That's currently worst in the league in the second half. Tonight's second baseman Rudy Gomez leads off with shortstop Alberto Cayospo batting second. Right fielder Nick Gorneau hits third with the designated hitter Derek Gibson cleaning up. Catching tonight Jeff Mathis in the five spot with the third baseman Casey Smith hitting sixth. In left field, Jason Espino batting seventh with the first baseman Mike Elwood hitting eighth. Rounding out the Travs starting nine, center fielder Tommy Murphy. Joe Saunders on the hill for the Travs. His record 3-2 and an ERA at 6.00. Bill Stockman takes the hill for the Diablos. His record 1-1 with a 1.71 ERA. We'll have the first pitch thrown by Joe Saunders coming up after a break. The Travs and the Diablos are set for Game 4 on the ticket. Total Sports 1380.
Professional uniform program. AmeriPride features a wide range of high-quality programs for manufacturing, hospitality, service, medical and professional and executive wear. Call 664-5575 to schedule a presentation. AmeriPride Consultants also specializes in the finest quality clothing, rental mats, and restroom service. Call 664-5575 for AmeriPride. Official brand supplier of the Arkansas Travelers. Join the Air Force in 1964. Served in Vietnam. Commanded forces in the far corners of the globe. Rising through the ranks, he served as a three-star general at the Pentagon. He spent 30 years in distinguished service with the Army. Lieutenant Norman Lieutenant General retired in the United States Air Force. That's just the beginning. Today, he's pursuing a new career. Walmart's Vice President of National Government Relations. North's journey took him near and far. Scandinavia, Europe, the Middle East, and Webster University, where he earned a master's degree that served him well in his career. I'm Bob Thomas, member of the board of Webster University. All Webster campuses around the world share the same belief. Education is more than just a degree. It's real knowledge. The real world.
Stand by.
We still have a coupon for an Angels cooler bag. Please redeem it at this time in the souvenir stand.
Time for baseball at Ray Winder Field with the Arkansas Travelers battling the El Paso Diablos for the final time, not just for this season, but ever. The Diablo franchise shifting out to Springfield, Missouri, and that takes a franchise that has been playing in the same city ever since the 1971 season out of the Texas League and into Springfield. Certainly it is a sign of the league moving forward, but also part of the history is being left behind. El Paso, one of the flagship franchises of the Texas League during the 70s and the 80s, certainly in the 90s when they started the new ballpark building boom in the circuit with Cohen Stadium out in El Paso. And apparently Cohen Stadium may even have a chance of lying dormant for next year without a baseball team, something we might be talking about later on in the broadcast as the owners of the Diablos, the Brett family, has decided that they're looking for a AAA team, but there's no way they'll get a AAA team to El Paso. So a little bit of drama out in the Sun City as their last place Diablos will be moving out of town, and maybe even the fans in El Paso won't have a team to root for at all next season. But for right now, the Travs are trying to get out of a 4-game losing streak with Joe Saunders on the mound. And he'll throw a first pitch strike to Marlon Williams as we start the game today at 7:14. Game time temperature out here in central Arkansas is a very comfortable 78 degrees with the cloud cover cooling us off. Williams a swing and a miss at Saunders' fastball, and he gets ahead 0-2. Saunders, the last Traveler to win a ball game. It was the 22nd of this month. A 6-4 win at First American Bank Ballpark against Midland. And his 0-2 to Williams is low for ball one. Williams sitting out of yesterday's ball game. On Thursday night, he was out in center field, went 1 for 3, scoring twice and stealing 3 bases. He's a right-handed batter. Saunders, a lefty out of Springfield, Virginia. Now the 1-2 pitch, a little bit high for a count of 2-2. Mentioned that last win for Saunders was his second in a row. And in fact, he had dropped 2 of his first 3 starts at Double-A, then had a no decision, but again, he's won the last 2. Now the 2-2 pitch to Williams. Fastball inside, backs him off the plate, and first count of the ball game runs full. Saunders pitching in his 7th game with the Travs. He made 19 appearances at Single-A Rancho Cucamonga, posting a 9-7 record with a 3.41 ERA. Here's the payoff to Williams. Strike 3 is called on the low inside corner in a nice way for Saunders to start the game as he registers his 17th strikeout in just over 30 innings. So Williams is struck out. The 112th time he's been set down on strikes this season. And Saunders tried to cut fastball, it seemed. A little bit of movement on a fastball that hit that inside portion of the plate. This will bring up shortstop Keone Duren. He's a switch hitter, so bat right-handed. Hangs over the plate, swings and fouls the first pitch back into the screen. Strike 1. Duren has had outstanding contact against the Travs, where he's come to the plate 16 times against the Travelers, striking only once and collecting 8 hits. Now the pitch fouled straight back again, and it's 0-2 to Duren. Last night, Duren with 4 singles and scored 3 of El Paso's 5 runs. Pretty much it was Keone Duren as most of the offense, and over a third of the Diablos' base hits, scored over half of their runs. 0-2 count. Let's see if Saunders can't set him down. This pitch popped up on the infield as he gets him on a fastball a little bit high and inside. Second baseman Gomez camps underneath it and makes the catch for out number 2. So Saunders looks to be throwing pretty hard to start this game. That was a nice pitch to Duren. It was the pitcher's pitch, not in the strike zone, and Duren still went after one that was a bit high and tight. Base is empty for first baseman Jesus Cota. Cota knocked in a couple of runs with his 10th home run of the season. Hit that off of Marco Sullivan, who had a valiant 5-inning performance out of the bullpen. Cota left-handed. First pitch on the way, and he'll take it on the outside corner for strike 1. Infield shifts just a little with Cota at the plate. He's a pull hitter, so Gomez a little deeper at second base. And this pitch grounded outside first for strike 2. So Mike Elwood just a little bit closer to the line, but more behind the bag than down the line. Shortstop Kai Osbo is pretty deep. Third baseman Casey Smith is about 15 feet away from third and playing back. Outfield also shifts towards right as Saunders delivers the 0-2 and Cota takes away. Ball 1. In left field today, Jason Espido. In center, Tommy Murphy. And right fielder Nick Gorneau. It's the same trio of outfielders as yesterday, but Gorneau and Espido flip-flop on the corner spots. Now the 1-2 to Cota, outside again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cota's home run yesterday, his first base hit of the series. He's 1 for 7, and he'd missed the second game with a problem with his contact lens. Saunders with a 2-2, and it's fouled back. Came inside with an off-speed pitch, and Cota able to flick it back into the screen. Saunders is an intriguing pitcher, and I think we're really going to find out a lot about Joe next year and anticipate Saunders being next year's opening day starter for the Travelers. Another 2-2 to Cota. Swung on, grounded to Elwood at first base, plays it off the line. Saunders covers, but Elwood takes it himself all the way, and that'll end the first inning as Saunders sets down the Diablos 1-2-3. So a nice start to the game for Joe. We'll see what Phil Stockman brings after a couple thousand miles in the air from Athens, Greece. The Travs come up with no score in the bottom of the first after this break on the ticket. Total Sports 1380.
Our cashies are currently awaiting an organ transplant. And did you know that every 16 minutes, a new name is added to the organ transplant waiting list? You can help to reduce these numbers by registering to become an organ donor. Call the Arkansas Regional Organ Recovery Agency at 866-660-5433 or visit the Aurora website at www.aror to learn more. Become an organizer. His hope.
Jackie Robinson was the first African-American to play Major League Baseball. While breaking baseball's cone barrier, he faced angry crowds in every stadium. While playing one day in his home stadium in Brooklyn, he committed an error. His own fans began to ridicule him. He stood at second base, humiliated, while the fans yelled. Then shortstop Pee Wee Reed came over and stood next to him. He put his arm around Jackie Robinson and faced the crowd. Robinson later said that arm around his shoulder saved his career. I'm Mark X, pastor of the church at Rock Creek. Today, take a minute to encourage a friend. It may make their day. For more information about Rock Creek, look on the web at Church at Rock Creek.
Ready, set, go.
Well, what a change of venue over just a few days for Phil Stockman. As earlier this past week, Stockman was right in the thick of the Olympics in Athens, Greece, pitching in the biggest stage of his career. That is, of course, until Stockman makes it to the major leagues. But next thing he knows, he's on a plane back to Little Rock, Arkansas, and appears at Ray Winder Field against the AA affiliate of the Angels. A little bit lesser of a scale for Stockman, as he makes just his 5th Diablo appearance of the season. Big, tall, hard-throwing right-hander, and he'll deliver the first pitch to Rudy Gomez inside, ball 1. It'll be Gomez, followed by Alberto Callaspo and Nick Gorneau against Stockman, a 6'6" right-hander from Mount Warren Park, Australia. A fastball for a strike to Rudy, and it's 1-1. Stockman, a free agent signee back in 1997, so he signed when he was only 16 years old. Another strike to Gomez. Now it's 1-2. Rudy last night, part of a 3-homer attack as he had his 4th of the season. Stockman's 1-2. Little sinker pitch, it looked like, maybe a forkball that stayed high. It definitely had some downward motion on that pitch. So it's 2-2 on Gomez. Rudy hitting .262. He's 3 for 8 in the series. Next pitch from Stockman, slider outside, full count. This is the 7th professional season for Stockman. He missed all of the 99 season and most of the 98 campaign. Now the 3-2, Gomez takes inside and draws a leadoff walk. Nice start for Rudy as he gets on base. Stockman walking his 11th in 21 innings. And he'll struggle with control at times, but he also has an overpowering fastball in the mid-90s and a nasty, hard-biting slider. And he started off Gomez 1-2 and then threw 3 straight out of the strike zone. Now Alberto Callaspo comes up. He's still looking for his first hit of the series. He's gone 0 for his first 11, bouncing into a double play, and the only time he's been on base was with a base on balls. Swinging late at the fastball, Callaspo fouls it straight back, strike 1. Alberto will bat left-handed against the tall right-hander. Stockman began the season with the AAA Tucson Sidewinders. Made 12 outings with them. Had a couple of good appearances, but mostly inconsistent. The 0-1 to Callaspo very high, 1-1. At AAA, Stockman's earned run average was 5 3/4. Allowed a .287 average against, and was averaging over 2 walks per, over 5 walks per 9 innings. Now the 1-1, swung on, grounded at the right side. Coda tried to backhand it, it bounces off of him. He recovers and gets the throw to first base. Stockman covers, and they get the out on Callaspo. That was a bit of a lucky play for Coda as he lunged out for the ball on the infield grass, and it kicked away from him. The ball rolled just a little bit towards second base. Coda was able to recover the ball, and Stockman, with a heads-up play, covered anyway. And bang, bang at first. Callaspo goes down for the 12th time. It does move Gomez into second base. And so Nick Gorneau has a chance to put the Travs ahead in the first inning. Gorneau has only 3 hits in this series, 2 of them yesterday, home runs each. First pitch popped into the first base seats, a foul ball. Strike 1 to Nick Gorneau. Nick had gone 1 for his first 9 in the series, and then launched home runs in last night's 4th and 6th innings, both as leadoff home runs. Gorneau only had collected 2 RBIs in 10 games prior to yesterday, and then had 2 RBIs on just 2 consecutive pitches. The 0-1 popped up again, this time out of play behind the plate. And Stockman gets ahead 0-2 on the Trav right fielder. The 2 homers last night, raising Gorneau's total to 19. He was tied with Chad Santos only for a few minutes, and Santos of Wichita went yard yesterday for his 20th home run. So Gorneau all by himself, 5th spot in the Texas League in the leaderboard in homers. The 0-2 curve, strike 3 called, and Stockman takes care of Gorneau on only 3 pitches. Off-speed quality of that pitch. Gorneau was expecting something a little bit harder. And so Stockman has done what he does quite a bit. He's walked a batter and struck another one out. So it's 15 strikeouts and 11 walks, all against 12 hits in 21 2/3 innings. 6 runs, 4 of them earned. Here's Derek Gibson, who got a chance to see Stockman at AAA Tucson earlier this year when Derek was with Salt Lake. Now they battle in the Texas League, and Stockman skips the first pitch off the catcher. It bounces away from Morgan and gives Gomez third on a wild pitch. A ball and no strikes on Gibson. That'll only help out the Travs if Gibson beats out a ground ball for an infield single, or if Stockman throws another wild pitch. That's the second that he's thrown with El Paso in 5 starts. He'll continue to work from the stretch, and the infield stays back. Gibson, 1 for 4 with a double last night, and he'll pop away. The 1-0 pitch out behind the press box again, 1-1. Derek comes in today on a 4-game hitting streak with 6 extra base hits over those games. No singles. 2 homers, 4 doubles, and a double in 2 games in this series. The 1-1 check swing roller off the bat towards the first base side. Cota makes the play and flips it away from Stockman. It gets behind him. That'll score Gomez from third base, so that wild pitch does help out the Travs. First of all, Cota looked like he had more time than he was expecting, and Stockman covered at first base in time. But Cota flipped the ball a little bit too late, and instead of leading the pitcher on his way to first, the throw trailed Stockman, and he couldn't reach behind himself. 1-0 Arkansas, and charged the error to the first baseman, Jesus Cota. No RBI for Gibson. Now Jeff Mathis step into the plate just like Kayospo. He's looking for his first hit. And a strike on the fastball. Gets ahead 0-1. Well, again, that wild pitch from Stockman sending Gomez to third. Rudy probably wouldn't have scored on that ground ball. Even though it got behind Stockman, it didn't roll very far away. The 0-1 to Mathis. High and tight, he limbos underneath a fastball. 1-1. And Stockman throws very hard, plus the fact that he's a behemoth of a man under the pitcher's mound. That can be a pretty intimidating experience, having him come straight at your head with a fastball. Now remember, he doesn't always know where the pitch is going. Gibson a short lead at first. There's 2 outs, 1 run in. Mathis takes a strike, 1-2. Then a slider on the outside corner. So the Travs allowing the winning run yesterday to score in a couple wild pitches, and they score the first run today thanks to a wild pitch and an error. Still waiting for their first hit of the inning. Mathis is 0 for 10 in the series. The 1-2 inside. Boy, Stockman is throwing hard. That's a tough pitch to get around on, so Mathis just figures to take it. Jeff was 0 for 4 yesterday with strikeouts in his first and final at-bats. 4 strikeouts in 10 at-bats in this series. Stockman delivers a 2-2 slider, and it stays high. And while Stockman, his size allows him to throw as big as he does, and the fact that he's just got very strong legs, but I think that his body size and the fact that he's a little bit thicker might keep his mechanics from repeating themselves time and time again. His mechanics seem to get thrown off sometimes. 3-2 pitch, a fastball. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. And so that strikes Mathis out for the 5th time in the series. And the Travs settle for the 1 run on 1 walk, 1 wild pitch, and 1 error. That's manufacturing a run. 1-0 Arkansas. We get into the 2nd inning on the ticket. Total Sports 1380.
I'm 63. A heart attack can happen at any time. In fact, every year, nearly twice as many women die from heart disease than from all forms of cancer combined, making heart disease the leading killer of women. I'm 57. I'm 49. I'm Advantage Health. Arkansas's premier heart care leader is working to increase awareness of heart disease and its symptoms, and to let you know what is needed to prevent it. Like paying attention to your diet, watching your blood pressure, and regular exercise. With a little extra on this part, you have the benefit to add years to your life. For a free brochure about heart disease, call 1-888-5.
Ready?
Travs lead 1-0 thanks to an error by the first baseman Jesus Cota. And on that play, he had Stockman, the pitcher, standing on the bag, basically waiting for the throw, but that throw was at least a foot behind him. Stockman also aided the Travs' cause, throwing a wild pitch that sent Rudy Gomez from second to third. Probably wouldn't have scored on that error if he was at second base. So Joe Saunders has 1 run to work with as he sets on top of the pitcher's mound and now ready to face Carlos Quentin, the cleanup man. And Diablo right fielder takes a first fastball high. It'll be Mike DeRosa on deck, and then Adam Haley, the 4, 5, and 6 batters against Saunders. There's a good matchup here. A couple of first-round picks going at each other. Quentin, selected last year in the first round, fouls the 1-0 pitch out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. And there's Saunders, the 12th overall selection in the 2002 draft out of Virginia Tech. And Saunders was watching the pregame show earlier today of the first college football game of the season as Quentin swings and misses at the off-speed delivery. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Saunders certainly has a stake in watching that ball game as his alma mater, Virginia Tech, takes on co-national champion USC today. Here's the 1-2 from Saunders, high and inside, and that backs Quentin away. 2-2 count. That's when Saunders was pitching for Virginia Tech. He was pitching in the Big East Conference. And now Virginia Tech sliding down to the ACC, a much better baseball conference. Pitch inside, now the count full. A lot of people hadn't thought about a little switch from those schools with Miami, Boston College, and Virginia Tech down to the ACC. That's also made the baseball program much nicer for the ACC, which already was one of the best conferences in the nation. 3-2 is inside, and it hits Quentin on his front foot. Now, that would have been a walk one way or the other, but with that pitch hitting Quentin, he has now set an all-time minor league record, hit by the 41st pitch of the season. He tied that record a couple of days ago when he was hit on a pitch by Cam Esslinger, and now Saunders puts him over the edge. So congratulations, Carlos Quentin, for breaking a record that you probably didn't even know you were up on. Mike DeRosa, the batter, fouls a pitch straight back. I mean, is there going to be anybody that... I mean, Quentin, this might be something he wears as a badge of courage. You don't go around puffing out your chest saying, hey, I was hit by more pitches than anybody in the history of minor league baseball. But you know what? There's a lot of players that have been coming through here. Maybe he's wearing some sort of leather magnet. The 0-1 pitch driven through the left side of the infield, and DeRosa, who was hitless in his first 11 at-bats of the series, collects a single, and Quentin out to second base. So the Diablos have 2 on and no outs for the 6-hitter Adam Haley. That's definitely a record that comes from out of left field, and from the pitcher's mound to the plate. 41 pitches to be hit by in the season. Major League record is 50, set by Ron Hunt back in the 60s. Haley bunts the ball towards third. This gets the runners over. Casey Smith takes it and throws across the diamond. Elwood is there for the cover at first. 5-3 goes the out at first base. The sacrifice works. Quentin to third, and DeRosa to second base. So the Travs' 1-run lead already in jeopardy. As Saunders hits Quentin, DeRosa singles, and they move up on the sack. Number 7 man Mike Morgan steps up. The infield comes in, so they'll try for the out at the plate. Quentin runs okay, not a great runner. From the stretch, Saunders, Morgan, right-handed, takes away on a fastball and gets ahead 1-0. Mike Campo, a former Angels farmhand, set that original record with 40 times hit by a pitch 2 seasons ago. Saunders with a 1-0. Low and outside, 2 balls, no strikes. And that tells you the approach of Carlos Quentin. He stands with his right foot pretty darn close to the inside line in the batter's box. That left foot is very far open, but he dives in towards the plate. And I would venture on saying that there's some borderline pitches that he gets hit by. The 2-0 fouled back off the catcher's mitt. Now it's 2-1. Morgan sat out of yesterday's game, and a late season addition to the Diablos, playing in only his 11th game with El Paso. He's batting .147 in his first 10 games. No home runs, 3 RBIs. Travs up 1-0, and there's only 1 out. Saunders is ready. Here's the pitch to Morgan. Down and outside, 3-1. Came with another fastball, and now behind Morgan. Third baseman Smith backs over towards third now. He's about 5 feet off. Here's the 3-1, and that's a strike on the low inside corner. Saunders with a breaking pitch without so much of a downward motion, more of a sweeping breaking ball. Full count on Morgan. Saunders has struck out 1 batter, 17 strikeouts in 31 innings. Can he get this strikeout here? And it would help. Saunders at the belt, the kick, and the 3-2. Swung ungrounded outside third base. And Scott Coolbaugh, the Diablo manager, stabbed that ball quickly. He knew that was foul. Still 3-2. Morgan has knocked in 3 runs in 10 games at Double-A. Looking to tie the game or put the Diablos in the lead. 3-2 pitch. Jam shot into the first base seats. That's right into the Optimist dugout where a young fan made a catch with his glove. That's why you bring the thing out here. Nice job. Let's see if Saunders can make that same pitch. That was a nice pitch on Morgan's fists. Mathis flashing out signs. He sent up on the inside corner. Here's the pitch. Fouled straight back. Morgan put a pretty big swing on a fastball that Saunders threw at the knees. Didn't elevate it much. And so that might have been a ground ball if Morgan put it into play. He seemed to be right on it. It would have been a sharp ground ball. Still 3-2 as Morgan has fouled away 3 consecutive pitches. Saunders, he's ready as he's throwing the 9th pitch of the at-bat, and it's low, ball 4. So he walks Morgan and loads the bases for the number 8 batter, Todd West. So Saunders scuffling a bit with his control here in the 2nd inning. Went full on Quentin before hitting him with the last pitch of the at-bat. Single by DeRosa. And then Morgan works a 9-pitch at-bat and draws a walk. West, a .249 hitting second baseman, is 4 for 11 this series. Also right-handed, and the infield plays for 2. Saunders deals. West takes the first pitch on the outside edge, strike 1. The lights have been turned on as it's getting much darker, and the cloud cover continues right above us. Those lights are taking their effect as the runners also out to their leads. Quentin a little bit off of third. DeRosa and Morgan further off their bases. West swings and misses as Saunders disguises that changeup very nicely. But one thing you really like about Saunders, his ability to change speeds and disguise the fact that he might be taking 5 miles off a fastball and maybe even 15 with a changeup. He's ahead 0-2. Does he waste one? The pitch. Swing and a miss. He strikes him out on the high fastball instead. So Saunders going right at West. Didn't waste any time, throwing only 3 pitches for his second strikeout of the night. And so the infield can relax. No longer has to worry about 2. But a very tough out coming up to the plate in the form of Victor Hall. This will bring the third baseman Smith in at third, as Hall, a left-handed batter, always a threat to bunt. Middle infielders deeper, and Elward deep at first base. Bases loaded, 2 outs. First pitch to Hall, takes it high, ball 1. And West with 2 hits in this series. Actually, Hall with 2 hits in the series, including a double last night. He's hitting .353 in his 50 games with El Paso. Saunders ready at the belt, and the 1-0 to Hall is low and outside. 2 balls, no strikes to Victor. Hall, a very aggressive batter, but he's not above taking a few pitches and forcing Saunders to throw a strike. Here's the 2-0. Swung on, fly to shallow center. Murphy coming in, finds it late. Kayaspo out from shortstop, makes the call anyway, and the catch made by Kayaspo. So Saunders pitches out of the bases-loaded gem and strands 3 runners. That'll hold the lead at 1-0 Arkansas as we move to the bottom of the second inning on the ticket. Total Sports, 1380.
We got discount tickets to draft games all year thanks to Ruddy Ice. Arkansas's #1 ice company, Ruddy Ice presents Ruddy Ice Wednesdays at Wayne Winterfield. Just pick up a discount coupon for any Wednesday draft home game anywhere Ruddy Ice is sold, like most Shell and Exxon gas stations. Bring the coupons to the draft box office for a $3 general admission ticket to any Wednesday home game. That's Ruddy Ice Wednesdays at Wayne Winterfield all season long. Thanks to Arkansas's #1 ice company, Ruddy Ice.
When it comes to making their buying decisions, people today let their fingers do the walking through Yellow Book's Yellow Pages. It's no wonder. Yellow Book's packed with money-saving coupons, restaurant menus, and vital community info. And with more apps than ever before, it has everything you need right at your fingertips. It's easy to spot. Just reach for the Yellow directory with the map on the cover and join the smart shoppers who choose Yellow Book, not the other book. Put your business in Yellow Book. Call 1-800-YB-YELLOW.
Stand by. Ready, set, go.
Outstanding job done by Joe Saunders as he had to pitch with the bases loaded and 1 out. Gets a strikeout of Todd West and a fly out from Victor Hall. So Saunders holds that lead through 2 innings. Casey Smith will lead off for the Travelers in the second inning against Phil Stockman, with Jason Espedo and Mike Elward also scheduled to hit. This will be the 6, 7, and 8 batters in the Arkansas order. Final home game will come up on Wednesday night. That's against the Midland Rockhounds. 7:10 first pitch Wednesday. Fans run the bases after the game. We mean all fans run the bases after the game, kids or adults. And that's compliments of Gator Park. Plus, it'll be a discount ticket night. Discount tickets available where Ready Ice is sold at Exxon and Shell stations, or 2 cans of food or dry goods. And the ballpark also gets you in for $3 a piece. Stockman starts the inning with a strike to Casey. Casey hitting .291. Will ground one slowly to second baseman Todd West. Picks it, flips it to first, and retires Smith. So Casey is 3 for 11 in the series. He had knocked in a run yesterday as the Travs fell behind early, but today they take the lead early on an unearned run. Jason Espedo coming up now. He's hitless over the series. In this lineup today, you've got Cayaspo, Mathis, Espedo, and Tommy Murphy, each without a hit in the series. This pitch fouled straight back, and Espedo is behind 0-1. Murphy 0 for 8. Espedo 5 at-bats without a hit. The 0-1 from Stockman is high and outside to the left-handed left fielder. And Espedo didn't even take this slump a little further. 17 at-bats, only 2 base hits. His average of .250. The 1-1, grounded hard at first baseman Koda, plays it behind the bag, runs himself unassisted put out. 2 gone in the second inning, bringing up 8-hitter Mike Elwood. Tomorrow night, the final day game of the season at Ray Winder Field. 3 o'clock start time. And the Jim Elder Good Sport Fund presents the last kids clinic of the season as well, starting at 1:45, as Trav's coaches and players will conduct that clinic on the field, starting again at 1:45. All kids to the clinic get a free Trav baseball. Elwood takes a first pitch strike. Plus, it's also AARP Day tomorrow night. Any valid membership of AARP will get you in for free. Go over to Academy Sports and Outdoors. There's discount tickets at that location in West Little Rock. Elwood pops up the 0-1, and that'll get to the first base roof. Strike 2. Elwood hitting .265 with 6 homers and 58 runs batted in. A nondescript 2 for 7 in the El Paso series. 1-0 score. The Travs in front and trying to avoid the 4-game sweep of the hands of the last place team of the West Division. Stockman's 0-2 is high, and Elwood has a 1-2 count. Diablos, in fact, have won only 5 games in their last 15, all 5 of those coming against Arkansas. Now the 1-2 to Elwood. Fouled straight back as Stockman was a little bit high with a breaking pitch. Still 1-2. In fact, the Diablos were coming off a series in which they played 6 games at Round Rock, losing all but 1 before splitting 4 with the Travs last week in El Paso. And then the Frisco Rough Riders blew into El Paso and came out winning all 4 games. So Frisco had basically lost all their games except to the Travs over the past 2 weeks. Elwood works the count at 2-2 now. And Stockman winds up. He kicks and deals inside. Fastball runs it full. Meanwhile, the Travs coming off a 4-4 road trip, and they'd split their last 3 series against Tulsa, El Paso, and Midland. But all that goes kaput. Losing the first 3 games of this series. The 3-2 to Elwood inside as Stockman issues a 2-out walk to the Arkansas first baseman. Over to first goes Elwood. Stockman has walked his second. And this brings Tommy Murphy to the plate. Murphy had the chance to be the hero yesterday on his 25th birthday, and he delivered at the top of the 9th inning, gunning out West at home as he attempted to score on a single by Keone Duren. Murphy showing off a great throwing arm, pegged West by a foot, then struck out, leaving the winning runs on base in the 9th inning. Here, first pitch, he pops up behind second, and West gets underneath it in front of the center fielder Williams. West makes the catch, and the Travs are finished in the second inning. They just get Elwood to first base with a 2-out walk and leave him there. So 2 innings are in the books, and it's the Arkansas Travelers 1, the El Paso Diablos nothing. This is Traveler Baseball on the Ticket. Total Sports 1380.
This football season, TeamSpec.com, one of the most respected, legal, and licensed sports books. Everything you're looking for and more. They've got the tightest spread, the deepest parlays, and the sexiest tickets around. Call 866-766-9238. TeamSpec.com. Come enjoy their sign-up bonuses, free teasers, and cash back on all your work actions. Only at TeamSpec.com. They're open 24/7 and offer instant payout. You'll always be secure at TeamSpec.com. Guys, when you need action and cut it down, check down at TeamSpec.com. Also, free 866-766-9238. That's 866-766-9238 for TeamSpec.com.
And now we went all the hour. Here's meteorologist Jennifer Moran.
Thank you, myself. It looks like the next few moisture and temperatures way below normal levels with an average week. No sunshine is expected for quite some time. Also, heavy wind bias will be in effect. Possibility for downstream and power lines. But there is good news on the way. What's that? Perhaps the state collects money on car insurance by switching it back out.
Which is the case. Call 1-800-9.
Center fielder, Alan Williams.
One nothing lead for the Arkansas Travelers. We get to the top of the third inning and the top of the Diablo order. Center fielder Marlon Williams goes up against Joe Saunders as Joe is faced 9 batters, retiring all but 3 of them. You got Williams to strike out in the first inning, and Williams swings and misses at the first pitch of the third inning. Saunders allowing 1 hit. He's hit a batter, he's walked another. Pitched out of a bases-loaded jam in the second inning. Now the 0-1 to Williams. Swung on, hit high to center field, hit it well. Murphy seems to have it measured in right center field at the gap, and he makes the catch just at the edge of the warning track. So that's out number 1. Nice job by Murphy measuring that against the wind, as it's been blowing here and there and everywhere pretty much all day, with a storm front that came through the area earlier this morning. And in the early afternoon, there was some hard winds. Wouldn't call them heavy winds. Number 2 batter, Keone Duren, stepping in. He popped up in the first. And Saunders misses outside. Almost feels like the trap corner infielders are playing up against Williams, Duren, and Hall, no matter what the count is or the situation. Duren hasn't bunted for a hit yet, but he's been right on the money with line drives. There's a strike, and it's 1-1 on Duren. Keone playing in his 9th game with El Paso. He's 12 for 32. 4 RBIs, 11 runs scored. He's been productive. 1-1. Strike 2 on Saunders' fastball. Right on that inside corner. Saunders is throwing hard, as I mentioned earlier. A little bit inconsistent with his command, but his stuff looks to be good tonight. The windup in the 1-2. Duren takes away. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Keone. That's spelled Keoni. Duren, D lowercase e, capital R, then E-N-N-E. Out of Honolulu, Hawaii. His father, a former coach for the Rainbows. 2-2 pitch to Renna, high, flat to center. Murphy is right there. Drifted a few steps towards left. He's underneath it and puts away out number 2. Dakota stepping up next for the Diablos. It's not known where the Diablos will end up next season, and by that I mean their affiliation. It's not known where the Diamondbacks will end up. Dakota will take a first pitch strike, but one thing's for certain, the franchise that inherits the Diamondback organization inherits a team that has been in last place the last couple of years. Dakota, high drive to center, tag that one all the way to the fence. Murphy leaping at the fence. He's got it. Oh, Tommy Murphy with a catch right up against the fence. Almost smashed his right shoulder in, but he braced himself, and Tommy Murphy makes all 3 putouts in the 3rd inning with the last one a highlight reel grab. 1-0 lead for the Travs. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning on the ticket. Total Sports 1380.
Is it your girlfriend? You got a date? Ooh, she got a date after the game. Silly. Well, hey, you better get out the home with your girlfriend because you're losing the race. Yeah, you lost, Shelly. Sorry. Congratulations to Dick Levin. Lucas Shelly. Next week's second toss contestants are Melissa Evans and Chris Patterson. Melissa Evans and Chris Patterson, please report to the travel office at this time. We have a lucky autograph on page 9 in the scorecards. Lucky autograph on page 9 in the scorecards.
A 1-0 lead for the Arkansas Travelers, reserved by Joe Saunders and Tommy Murphy, making all 3 putouts in the top of the 3rd inning. The last one, a leaping catch at the fence. Murphy was the final batter to hit in the Trav half of the 2nd, so we get to the top of the order for the 3rd. This is Phil Elson with you on the ticket Total Sports 1380. Tomorrow afternoon, start time is 3 o'clock. We'll have our ITT Tech pregame show at 2:45. Tomorrow afternoon, the Travs send right-hander David Gill to the mound. He's lost 4 in a row, 2-6 and an ERA over 6. Left-hander Stephen Bondurant takes the mound for the Rockhounds with 2 wins, 2 losses, and a 5.46 ERA. Midland today trailing first-place Round Rock by 4 games in the West Division standings with 9 games to go. And tonight, Midland at Frisco. That game should have started about 25 minutes ago. As of now, there's no report out of Frisco's ballpark as Gomez takes a pitch low and away from Phil Stockman. Stockman walked Rudy after getting ahead of him 1-2 in the 1st inning. And he'll miss with the first 2 pitches of the 3rd. Gomez went to second base on the ground out by Kayaspo. Advanced to 3rd on Stockman's wild pitch and then scored when Derek Gibson reached on an error by Jesus Cota on a flip to Stockman at first base. There's a strike on a fastball, 2-1 on Rudy. Round Rock leading Tulsa 2-0 in the 3rd at the Dell Diamond as Round Rock goes for the sweep. 2-1 inside to Rudy, 3 balls and a strike. Wichita and San Antonio, no score. That's in the 3rd inning. And again, no report out of Frisco. That game between the Rockhounds and the Riders should have started 25 minutes ago. 3-1 to Gomez. Strike 2 called on the fastball. Stockman has struck out 2. He's also issued 2 walks. Here's the payoff to Gomez. Ball 4 low on the breaking pitch. That's a borderline call, but Gomez gets the benefit of the call by A.J. Wendell, the home plate umpire. And he goes to first base for the 2nd time on a walk. Kayaspo steps in. He's ground out in the 1st inning, still hitless over the series. 0 for his first 12. Gomez running. Kayaspo swings. The ball glances off the glove of the pitcher, Stockman. Recovered at second by West, and as he falls down, he flips to first and retires Kayaspo. Oh, man. Nothing going right for Alberto. Hit and run, and the place he put it was right where he didn't want to put it. Right back up the middle with the shortstop and second baseman converging at the base. And Stockman, the pitcher, actually got in the way. Ball glanced off his glove. West had to go back a couple of steps, and he almost fell down. But as he picked the ball up. His momentum carried him a little bit over, and he almost fell down, but flipped the ball while he was on his way down towards the infield dirt. It's a pretty nice play. 1-4-3 goes the out at first. Kayaspo now 0 for 13 in the series. Gomez gets the second on the play. Now Gorno bats and takes inside for a ball. Kayaspo has been retired on two pretty good plays by infielders for El Paso as Cota recovered after the hard grounder by Kayaspo in the first inning, bounced out of his glove, and then Stockman deflects that line drive to West. 1-0, Nick pops it up behind the plate. Morgan, the catcher, goes back a few steps but does not have a play. That's strike one on top of the roof. 1 ball, 1 strike to Gorno. He only saw 3 pitches in the first inning, fouling 2 away and then taking a third pitch curve for strike 3. Stockman leaning in. The ball almost disappearing in his gigantic right hand. He's ready on the 1-1 to Gorno. Swinging a grounder towards short. Gomez stays at second. Cut the ball off the third baseman. Haley throws to first. Gorno beats the throw. Gomez advances to third right after the throw came from the third baseman. Duran did not charge the ball, and that gave Haley a chance to cut it off. But as Haley hustled for it anyway, his throw was still late. Talk about hustle. Gorno going all the way down the line as hard as he could, as it is Nick Gorno with the first Arkansas hit of the game on an infield single. So a chance to extend the lead as Derek Gibson steps up with 1 out and Trav runners at the corners. Gibson reached in the first inning on an error by Cota, the first baseman. Here, a changeup, blitz, deep but foul. Strike 1. Gibson got a high pitch, which is what he was looking for, but he was swinging at a fastball and the pitch came in a lot slower. 0-1 the count on Derek. He had hit a little tapper towards Cota in the first inning, and Cota flipped to Stockman behind him for the run-scoring error. Now the 0-1, swinging a miss on a high fastball, and Morgan, the catcher, caught that ball in the wrong part of his glove, it looked like. He doing a double over in pain after he caught the pitch. He walks out towards the mound and gives the ball to Stockman. Morgan, usually a third baseman, he's just backing up as the catcher today, as Mike DeRosa hasn't had a day off for a while, at least from behind the dish. DeRosa is the designated hitter tonight. Trav's on 1-0 and a chance to do a little bit more. With Stockman ahead of Gibson 0-2. Now this pitch, swing and a miss, and Gibson out on 3 pitches. Stockman blows a fastball right by Gibson's bat. Third strikeout for Stockman. 2 gone in the third. So here's Jeff Mathis, the Traveler catcher. He and Kayaspo have just been in such tough luck. While Kayaspo has been in a little bit tougher luck than Mathis. Mathis having trouble making contact. He's 0 for 11 in the series with 5 strikeouts. Stockman delivers from the stretch. Fastball way inside, 1-0. Take it further for Mathis. He's 6 for his last 57 with 13 strikeouts over that time. Stockman ready, and the 1-0 to Jeff. Inside again, almost hit Mathis. 2-0. And Mathis keeps coming out to the ballpark earlier than most players and still has a very good attitude during the game, before the game, and afterwards. But this season wearing on him a little bit. Average falling down to 230, lowest it's been in his career. 2-0 count. Stockman delivers. Mathis takes a strike. A high fastball at the letters. 2-1. Stockman seems to have more success and control with the fastball today. The 2-1. Off speed, fouled off. Mathis gets underneath the slider and pops it straight over the press box. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gomez at third base. He drew a leadoff walk. Gorno at first. He had the one-out single. Stockman steps away from the rubber. Morgan, the catcher, out in front of the plate, now flashing signs. And just think, without Stockman deflecting the line drive from Kayasco, it'd probably only be one out, and the run would be home. Stockman is ready, and the catcher wants it inside. Gorno runs. Mathis fouls it away. That time just a little bit in front of that pitch, and Mathis fouled it straight over the broadcast booth. Two balls, two strikes on Mathis. A stretch by Stockman, steps towards third, looks at first, the runners hold. Gorno running with that last pitch, and he flinched a little bit towards second base, but Stockman didn't disguise his intentions very well. Stockman with 3 strikeouts, including Mathis in the first inning. Gorno runs again. Mathis pops this behind the plate, and again on top of the roof. Jeff seems to be right on a couple of these pitches. Just missing. Good contact out towards the outfield. Again, Stockman is ready at the stretch, and the pitch. Fastball inside and high. Gorno stayed on that 2-2 offering. The count runs full on Mathis. Waiting on deck, Casey Smith. So Coda, the first baseman, now plays behind Gorno. The rest of the infield forgets about the base runners. Here's the pitch. Mathis takes inside and loads the bases on a walk. So while Mathis doesn't collect a hit, it is a pretty good at-bat as he fouls away consecutive pitches and works the second walk of the inning from Stockman and the fourth base on balls that Stockman has issued in 3 innings. Pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre Jr. makes an appearance out to the pitcher's mound. Throughout Stockman's career, he's had trouble with command. He seemed to have some of that trouble cinched during the 2003 season when he was one of the top Texas League pitchers. Walked 64 batters against 146 strikeouts in 147 innings. But the Yips came back this season. 46 walks in 77 innings between AA and AAA. Now 4 bases on balls in his first 3 innings of work. The thing for Stockman is he throws so hard and has such good stuff that the wildness doesn't always hurt him because he does not give up many hits. Casey Smith steps in. Bases juiced, 1-0 Travs. There's 2 outs in the third. Pitch 1, strike 1 on the fastball. Casey grounded out in the second inning. He's 3 for 11 in the series with 1 run batted in. Casey steps a little bit further away from the plate. They'll try to pitch him inside, and the 0-1 is a swing and a miss again on the fastball that Stockman took a little bit of something off. He seems to have a changeup working as well tonight. He's got Smith down 0-2. 0-2 pitch is a high fastball that backs Smith off. Smith 0 for 2, the bases loaded. Travs have had 3 grand slams hit. And this fastball, Casey had to dunk underneath it. Goes down to his knees. And now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes as Smith had to get out of the way of that high heater. Stockman can be right on the corner on one pitch and just doesn't seem to even have a clue of where it's going on the second one. Now the 2-2 to Casey. Slider, strike three called, right on the outside edge. That's what you're talking about. A fastball that he had no clue where it was going, then a beautiful painted pitch on the outside corner, and the Travs leave the bases loaded after a scoreless third inning. It's a 1-0 lead for the Arkansas Travelers over El Paso. We'll be back for the fourth after a break on the Ticket Total Sports 1380.
Here's the kids menu for the winner. And now for those watching the time, 6 features of low-cost dive in and carry out. For wide berths and parties, ticket dictators. 24 Highway 107 Sherwood. Over 7 on Monday for 7. Looking for the money. Pick up America's number 1 team free. In a home run game to your family. There's more than 10 made right here in America. Now, Mike, right here, the medical house, advertising. You'll be able to your family. Got out today and in the way. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. One of the best public horses in the state. Sporting beautiful best man free. Plus, Mike Fairway. Covered the turn of the best for years into a true champion. Don't like to feature beautiful race speed. And 18 lifestyle holes. Look at it 1 mile on 5-4-20.
And sizes small, $2. $2 for a complete suit, now in souvenir. And we have 3 Baseball Americans left in our league newspaper.
3 innings in the books at Ravender Field. The score 1-0 Arkansas over El Paso. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 error for the Diablos. That error did score the Travelers' run. Travs 1 run on 2 hits and no errors. Joe Saunders back on the mound in 3 innings. Saunders has allowed the 1 hit, 1 walk. He's also hit a batter and struck out 2. Perfect first and a perfect third inning. He had to pitch out of a bases-loaded gem in the second. Carlos Quentin steps up to lead off the fourth. And we'll run through some scores around the major leagues on the Southwest Airlines out-of-town scoreboard this inning. A few finals from earlier today. I'll give you the final scores first. Quentin steps in. Saunders with the first pitch to the newly crowned hit-by-pitch champion, and Quentin grounds it between third and short for a base hit. And so not only is Quentin broken an all-time minor league record today, he's also stretched a hitting streak to 10 games with a leadoff single in the fourth. Base hit number 2 against Saunders. Mike DeRosa had the first one, the very same place that Quentin put it, between third and short. Finals out of the National League today, and there are 5 of them. St. Louis beats Pittsburgh 6-4 with Jim Edmonds and Reggie Sanders hitting home runs. Matt Morris pitched fairly well in picking up his 14th win. There's a strike to DeRosa as it's an 0-1 count. Isringhousing saved his 38th. The Cubs lost a tough one against Houston 7-6. It was a 7-2 lead for the Astros going into the bottom of the 6th inning. And though the Cubs rallied, they still fall 1 run short. Pitch loaded DeRosa, now the count 1-1. And that win for Houston brings the Astros to 5 games in back of the Cubbies in the National League wild card standings. San Francisco had a chance to tie the Cubs today, but the Giants were defeated at Atlanta 9-3. Paul Burt over Jason Schmidt. Ball 2 to DeRosa downstairs. 2-1 the count on DeRosa. Nobody out. Quentin at first. 1-0 score. Travs in the lead. DeRosa 1 for 12 in the series. Right-handed batting DH, normally a catcher. Infield looking for a double play ball. Saunders sets and delivers the 2-1. Fouled straight back. Now it's 2-2. The Dodgers over the New York Mets today, 4-2. Eric Gagne saving his 36th of the season. Adrian Beltre just cannot be stopped. If you're looking for an MVP, Adrian Beltre probably should be right at the top of the list, along with Barry Bonds, Albert Pujols, and Scott Rowland. Without Beltry, the Dodgers certainly would not be sitting atop the National League West. Saunders just a little inside with a 2-2 fastball. A full count now in DeRosa. Beltry finished 5 for 5 with his major league high 42nd home run. And that led the Dodgers to their 75th win. They'll stay 4 games in front of San Francisco. Saunders ready. The 3-2 Quentin runs. Swing and a foul straight back. Still a full count, and Quentin has to return to first base. Florida Marlins stayed in the thick of things in the National League wild card, defeating Colorado 4-3. Fish had to score 2 times in the 8th inning for a come-from-behind win. Juan Encarnacion helped out with his 14th home run. Carl Pavano won his 15th game, and Armando Benitez with save number 38. The Fish now 5 games in back of Chicago in the wild card standings. Saunders, a throw to first, checking on Quentin, and he's back in standing up. National League games in progress. Philadelphia trails Milwaukee in the 7th, 3-2. Former Diablo first baseman Lyle Overbay hit his 14th home run for Milwaukee. San Diego 5, Montreal 2. That's in the bottom of the 7th. Saunders is set. Another throw to first base, and Quentin wasn't running. Hustles back into first. Arizona leading 2-0 at Cincinnati in the bottom of the 4th inning. And all the games in the American League. There's only 3 final scores and 1 rain delay at Cleveland. The White Sox and the Indians still waiting for the first pitch. Saunders, the 3-2, inside, ball 4. And Quentin heads to second. DeRosa reaches for the second time. Saunders has walked 2 batters. So this inning looks not very much unlike the second inning when Quentin reached base to start. DeRosa singled, and then Haley dropped down a sacrifice bunt. Haley's in the same situation now with Quentin at second and DeRosa in first base and nobody out. The Travs lead 1-0, so if Haley can drop down the sacrifice, the Diablos would have the go-ahead runs in scoring position. Saunders ready at the stretch. Haley left-handed. Saunders kicks and delivers. Haley squared around late. He takes a called strike. Angels today had their winning streak snapped at 9 as Johan Santana dominates them to lead the Twins to a 7-1 victory at Angels Stadium. Santana allowed only 4 hits and 1 run over 7 innings, striking out 6, and picked up his 15th win. Paulo Colon struggled in 6 innings, giving him 5 runs on 8 hits, and he falls to 13-10. And so Anaheim, who started today 1 game in back of Oakland, might drop a little bit. Haley squares around before Saunders delivers. Haley brings it back and takes away 1 ball, 1 strike by trying to slug bunt or just cross Saunders up. Mike Elwood comes back to the mound to talk with the pitcher as they discuss where a throw might go. Yankees all over the Blue Jays, 18-6. Tony Clark leads a 6-home run attack with a 3-homer game. That's the backup first baseman for the Yankees, hitting 3 homers. Ruben Sierra, Gary Sheffield, and A-Rod also chipped in with long ones. Corners up, the 1-1. Haley not bunting. He takes low. And it's 2-1. Mariners over Kansas City, 9-7. That's a final score in the first game of a doubleheader. And Seattle currently trailing in the second game, 3-2. Baltimore 3, Texas 2 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Orioles losing 11 consecutive games. Tampa Bay and Oakland just underway in the first. Haley now bunts the ball down the line at third. Smith lets it roll foul, and it goes outside the base. That ball was bunted pretty hard, but once it rolled off the lip of the grass and into the runner's path, since that lip is so pronounced, just the physics alone would tell you that ball's rolling foul. And it looked like it might have a chance to roll back on the lip of the grass in the foul ground of the runner's path and then roll back into fair territory, but it went outside the base just in the nick of time. So it's 2-2 on Haley, and you wonder if he might even be bunting with 2 strikes. Can't quite get a read on these Diablos in this situation. Elward still ready to charge at first. The stretch and the pitch, Haley swings and fouls it off. And that goes into the third base bleachers. Two balls, two strikes to Adam Haley. Saunders into the stretch, and the next pitch popped up by Haley on top of the roof right behind the plate. Elward still in front of the runner. Haley might be, he's not going to square around yet. Still doesn't square. And the pitch fouled off the catcher. Well, you can pretty much forget about the idea of the bunt now, as he swung at the last three pitches. So Elward will back up at first base. We've been playing in, even in the last couple of pitches. Smith backs up at third now, maybe a step behind the line. Middle infielders are looking for two. Gomez a little deeper at second. Saunders with a 2-2 pitch to Haley. Strike three called on the breaking pitch.
Okay, another reminder, last year we got a lower draft and former heavyweight champion Leon Spinks, who's now in the lobby.
So Joe strikes out his third batter. Against Haley looking on the breaking ball. And Matt Morgan steps in for El Paso. Saunders pitched out of a jam in the second inning. El Paso had the first two men reach in the fourth. Saunders takes care of Haley, now facing Morgan, who drew a walk in the second inning. Saunders misses away with his first pitch. Joe is a control pitcher, so seeing him walk batters is a surprise. He had walked only 23 batters in 106 innings at Single A. He kept his walk totals down for the most part for his first four starts at Double A, but struggled a bit the last two times out. 1-0 pitch to Morgan is just a little high. Mathis, quicker throw to second base, but Quentin gets in. It was a high throw by Mathis, and with him jumping out of his catcher's crouch, the home plate umpire Wendell didn't get a great look at the pitch. That might have been a called strike, but Mathis really did jump out of that catcher stance just before the pitch hit his mid. So I don't think he aided Saunders by throwing behind the runner at second. And now the 2-0 pitch to Morgan. Popped up into shallow right field. Coming in Nick Gorneau. He has it in his sights. And that's out number two. So Saunders able to get the second out even on a 2-0 count. So here's West. He struck out in three pitches. And all he was looking to do was make contact with the bases loaded in the second inning. Travs lead at 1-0 at the top of the fourth. And run scoring in the bottom of the first inning on an error by El Paso first baseman Jesus Cota. And the Diablos have actually had the better of the scoring chances. But they left three runners on in the second, and they might leave two more on here in the fourth. From the stretch, Saunders. Quentin jerks away from second base. Saunders with a pitch home, and it misses low. West, a .249 hitter. A 1-0 pitch. West takes a strike on the fastball. 1-1. Quentin is about 6 feet off of second. Kayaspo holding him on, but not all by that much. The 1-1 to West. Ball two outside, and Mathis to first with a throw, and he picks off DeRosa. Well, Mathis has been taking his chances over the past couple of weeks, and now it pays off as he picks off DeRosa to end the fourth inning, and that leaves Quentin at second. So Saunders pitches out of his second jam, and it's still 1-0. Arkansas leads as we head to the bottom of the fourth. On the ticket, Total Sports, $13.80.
Autograph baseball, $6. Real autograph. $5.
his career. Carpenter, pile driver, forward layer, and no right. Join now and start enjoying the benefits. Call the Arkansas Regional Council of Carpenter at 501-568-2500 for more information. Hey, what are you doing here? Sorry, first one to aisle 5 by the other. Come on. Flag again. Hey, stop going
The official soft drink of NASCAR. Real.
Phil Stockman returns to pitch in the fourth inning for El Paso. The Travs lead 1-0, and Stockman has put more runners on base himself than the Travs have put on themselves. Stockman has walked 4 batters over 3 innings. The Travs recording only 1 hit against him, but Stockman has equaled his hit total with his walk total with 4 strikeouts. Traveler left fielder Jason Espedo steps into the batter's box against the Australian Stockman, who wasn't the only El Paso player that was in the Olympics this season. Pete Sikaris, who was the closer for the Diablos a couple of points this year, was pitching for the Greek national team. Pitch high to Espedo as we start the 4th inning. Sikaris, who's actually from Chicago, has Greek roots. His father was from there, and so anybody who had their parents, or I believe grandparents, born in Greece were eligible to play for the Greek national team, and Espedo fouls the 1-0 pitch off. Now it's 1-1. Mike Tonis, catcher for the last 4 seasons for Wichita, is on the Greek national team as well. Espedo fouls off the 1-1 pitch, strike 2. Teammates of Stockman on the Australian national team, and one of them, a name the Trav fans will remember from a couple years ago, Craig Anderson, one of the top Texas League pitchers with San Antonio. 1-2, Espedo grounds it foul again at first base this time. 3 consecutive fouls. Nick Kimpton, a speedy outfielder in the Angels minor league system and a possible future Traveler playing for the Australian national team. And Trent Durrington would have been on the team had he not been on the roster of the Milwaukee Brewers, where Trent's been up and down to the big league club for most of the year. Espedo swings and misses and strikes out. 5 strikeouts for Stockman, and just took care of Espedo on the fastball. 1 away in the 4th. Mike Elward comes up. Eric Sear also pitching in the Olympics with the Canadian national team. Jeff Guile, former Trav third baseman, was playing for the Canadians. But Sear might be returning to the Travs for his final start of the season next week in Frisco as Elward takes a strike on the first pitch. Sear had been injured for much of his time at AAA, but was healthy enough to go out to Greece. Elward, a rising line drive to right center. That's going to hit the top of the fence. It's played late by the right fielder, Quentin. Elward slides on the second base with a 1-out double. Quentin, the right fielder, would have had a chance to peg Elward at second if he played the ball cleanly up against the fence, but the ball bounced away from him, giving Elward the extra couple of seconds he needed to get in with his 15th two-bagger of the year. And so the Travs have that all-important insurance run in scoring position for the number 9 batter, Tommy Murphy. Murphy 0 for 9 in the series with 2 strikeouts. This is his second at-bat today, and he fouls the first pitch straight back. Murphy in his second inning at-bat popped up to the second baseman West. And here in the 4th, he'll look to bring in Elward at second base. Shortstop Duren holding Elward on. He's away by only 4 steps. Stockman ready. Here's the 0-1 to Murphy. Swung on, flied left side, and foul. That's over the bullpen and into the picnic terrace. Strike 2 to Murphy. in that Diablo bullpen. A left-hander is getting loose. Stockman originally was going to be held to a 60-pitch count, but he's over those 60 pitches now. And so this will probably be his final inning before giving way to the El Paso bullpen. And it's Chris Cervantes getting ready in the El Paso bullpen. 0-2 to Murphy, swung on, line drive to center. That falls in for a base hit. Elwood has to hold at third as Williams picked it up on one bounce and throws it quickly. So Murphy with his first hit of the series, but unable to knock in Elwood. Well, I guess the ball was hit too hard. Too bad for Tommy. He hit the ball too darn hard. So Rudy Gomez will bat with runners at the corners and only one out. Nice responsive crowd for the Fanometer as Gomez steps in. Rudy has been on base twice, scoring the game's only run. And Murphy runs with the first pitch. It's a curve. Here's the throw to second. Murphy is safe at second base. His 24th steal, and that'll keep Gomez out of a double play. Had to take a strike in order to let Murphy try to steal that base. And it might work out. Infield will play halfway in up the middle, a little closer in at the corners. And that makes a lot of sense to send Murphy. Gomez had bounced into a team-leading 15 double plays. And the catcher, Morgan, is usually a corner infielder, is adjusting his equipment. Looked like his chest protector was hanging awkwardly off his body, so he adjusts that and puts it back on. They call them the tools of ignorance, but Morgan, maybe a little ignorant on how to wear that stuff. Morgan seems to have everything in working order now. I'll tell you what, with him not catching much, that might have a bearing if there's a play at the plate. Morgan might not block home plate like a regular catcher would. 0-1 pitch to Gomez. Ball inside, 1-1. And Gomez has swung at Stockman's pitches. He's been a little bit behind him, but Stockman has walked him twice. Let's see if Gomez can't bring a run home. 31 RBIs on the season for Gomez. This pitch, swinging a tip straight back, strike two. And Gomez has knocked in only 2 runs in 11 games against the Diablos, one of them last night on a solo homer. Tries lead 1-0, but they could definitely use a couple of runs here. Elwood at third, Murphy at second. Stockman has struck out 5 batters. Now the pitch to Gomez, low and away. Breaking ball to even it up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gomez brings the bat back. Stockman deals. Curveball, fouled away again. Still 2-2. Well, Stockman has struck out the 5 batters. There have been a lot of foul balls with 2 strikes against him. Gomez not choking up. In fact, he's hanging that last pinky off the end of the bat. 2-2 pitch, swinging a drive to center. Hit it well. Going back, Williams. And it's gone! A 3-run homer for Rudy Gomez as he goes deep for the 2nd consecutive game. 4-0 Arkansas. So Rudy Gomez connects on his 5th home run of the year. And a beautiful piece of hitting. Took a high fastball out to center field. It sliced a little bit towards right center and goes right over the shell sign. That's going to be it for Stockman, as he wasn't silver or gold like today. Gives up 4 runs in 4 innings. and is removed with only one out in the fourth. Travelers 4, Diablos nothing, and a 60-second pitching change break coming to you after this. Brought to you by Fox Sports Southwest. On the ticket, Total Sports 1380. Arkansas, Rudy balls with 2 batters. Out the 5 batters. There have been a lot of foul balls with 2 strikes against them. Gomez not choking up. In fact, he's hanging that last pinky off the end of the bat. 2-2 pitch, swinging a drive to center. Hit it well. Going back, Williams. And it's gone!
Stand by.
Get your picture made, your pre-Polaroid picture made with Shelly, the Carolina mascot of the main lottery. Turning your scorecards to page 8.
Phil Stockman leaves the game trailing the Arkansas Travelers 4-0, and Rudy Gomez with RBIs 32, 33, and 34. Now all 8 of his RBIs coming in this last week have come on home runs. He hit a grand slam at Midland, a solo shot yesterday, and a 3-run bomb off of Stockman, and the final pitch that Stockman threw. So Gomez again, 8 RBIs over the last 5 games now. Rudy hasn't been a big RBI man this season. In fact, in the first half of the season, remember, Gomez has been pretty much an everyday player. He knocked in only 15 runs in the first half. Now with the 3-run homer here, Gomez with 19 RBIs in the second half, but that was a huge hit. Just as Stockman was hanging on the brink, Gomez with a drive to center. Now Alberto Callaspo steps in against Chris Cervantes. Cervantes, a left-handed pitcher, so it'll switch around Callaspo to the right side, and he takes a strike on the first pitch. Cervantes out of Tucson, 25-year-old at 6'1", 160 pounds, and Callaspo grounds one to short. Duren charges in, gloves it, and quickly throws on the run to retire Callaspo. 2 gone in the 4th inning. This will bring up Gourneau. He and Gomez had the home runs yesterday. Gourneau today 1 for 2 with a strikeout in the first and a base hit in the 3rd inning. His hit in the 3rd was the only Traveler base hit in the first 3 frames. Beat out a ground ball towards short, and Cervantes crosses Gourneau with an off-speed breaking pitch for strike 1. Cervantes, former 15th round pick, and a change-up. Gourneau swings and misses, strike 2. Cervantes makes his 19th appearance with El Paso. 1 win, 1 loss, 1 save, and a 9.24 earned run average. Gourneau down to the count 0-2. Next pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 3 pitches. The last one a slow curveball as Gourneau strikes out for the second time. The Travs get a 3-run homer from Rudy Gomez to get ahead of El Paso 4-0. And we'll go to the 5th after this on the ticket. Total Sports 1380.
Melissa and Chris are going to show some tickets.
Did you know that more than 95% of the population with the wrong size shoes? Did you know that your foot grows your whole lifetime?
All right.
When was the last time you had your feet measured? Wearing the wrong size shoes is the #1 cause of foot problems. Come into Top Shoes and let us measure your feet and put you covered. You want to be hurt, or you don't want to be hurt. Come into Top. And while you're at it, first, Top Shopping Providers do free shoes.
But here's a thought. Visit your local John Deere dealer for an innocent test drive. Sit in that yellow seat and feel that rugged quality. Then, run the numbers. You may find you underrated value of John Deere. And overrated value of After all,
Ready?
Starts at 1:45. Being on the field with Travelers, three different aspects of the baseball game.
And back here at Raywinter Field, 4 innings in the books, and Rudy Gomez with a 3-run bomb off Phil Stockman in the 4th. Puts the Travs ahead 4-0. Phil Elson here with you, and Joe Saunders back to the pitcher's mound for his 5th inning of work. Saunders allowing only 2 base hits in his 4 innings. He's walked a couple men, hit another, and struck out 3. Todd West was the batter at the plate when Jeff Mathis ended the 4th with a pickoff at first of Mike DeRosa, so West starts off the 5th inning with a clean slate. Corners will come up a little bit. First pitch, West takes high and outside, ball 1. Well, this Diablo franchise is actually the second franchise to go through El Paso. Should leave a little hope for El Paso fans if they want to see Texas League ball again. West, a grounder over the mound and into center for a leadoff single. So the leadoff man on base for the 3rd inning of 5 tonight for the Diablos. El Paso got their first Texas League franchise in the 1962 season when a team from Victoria, Texas moved out to West Texas. That's when the Texas League was making a shift out towards the western part of the state and even into New Mexico for the first time as Albuquerque joined El Paso in the 1962 season. And that franchise known as the Sun Kings throughout its 8-year existence. Here's Victor Hall, left-handed batter. He'll show bunt, try to drag it, and he does. Elwood makes the play off the line at first, and nobody able to cover in time. Hall is safe with a bunt single, and that was a picture-perfect drag bunt. Rudy Gomez was a little bit late to second, but tell you what, even if he reacted immediately, there was no chance to get Victor Hall. Once he forced Elwood off the bag, it was already decided to bunt base hit. So 2 men on for the 3rd time in this game. Saunders has 2 on and nobody out. Same thing happened in the 2nd and the 4th. Saunders hasn't allowed a run yet. Top of the order, Marlon Williams steps in, will expect the bunt, and he squares. Takes the first pitch low for ball 1. Now that first El Paso franchise, the Sun Kings, were forced to move to Shreveport for the 71 season as the Sun Kings didn't draw very well in El Paso and ended up losing a lot of money. They were in debt up to their eyes and could not pay their bills and were forced to move to Shreveport. 1-0, Williams squares again and takes a strike on the outside corner. So El Paso was without professional baseball for 1971. Then Jim Paul saved the day, came in and assumed all the debt of the El Paso franchise, and El Paso was granted the Albuquerque franchise. The team that had gone in with El Paso in 1962 actually moved to El Paso for 1972. And that's where this franchise has been ever since. Pitch low and into Williams, now the count 2-1. Those 1972 El Paso ball players were known as the Sun Dodgers. The Dodgers were the affiliate then. And then they became the Sun Kings from 1973 when Jim Paul threw caution to the wind and decided to change the name to the Diablos. And things took off. 2-1 to Williams. Swing and a miss. He forgot about the bunt and went after a fastball. Now the count is 2-2. That El Paso franchise winning championships in 1986 and 1994. That last Texas League title came in the 94 season. 2-2 to Williams is low. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Travs and the Diablos hooked up in the 77 Texas League Championship Series, with the Travs winning that series 2-0. Of course, that was the first of 3 consecutive years that the Travelers would find themselves in the final round. 3-2 to Williams. Swung on, hit high to right. Back on it, Nick Gorneau a few steps. Plenty of room in front of the track. He'll make the catch. Tagging from second, West to third. The throw goes to second base. And Victor Hall is out at second. He was trying to advance. Victor Hall with an ill-advised try to advance from first to second base. He must have been anticipating Gourneau throwing all the way to third. But Gourneau did the smart thing, throwing to second, and Hall was dead meat. He'll get a lot of sideways looks as he steps back into the dugout. And not a high five for Hall, even after his spectacular bunt single, but a bad base running move. That's a double play that goes 9-2 at second base, and a blunder for Hall. West to third, now Duren bats and takes inside and high, ball one. I guess the point to the whole story about El Paso having two other franchises, this doesn't necessarily mean El Paso won't ever see the Texas League. This won't be for next year. Duren gets under a pitch, high flat left field. Espedo coming in a few steps, has it measured, makes the catch, and Saunders pitches out of another two-runner, no-out gem. Thank you very much, Victor Hall. Travelers 4, Diablos nothing. Last of the fifth after this on the ticket. Total Sports 1380.
All right, it looks like a couple of young fellas there in the center of the back. All right, you have to hit down the back. So fast and and this is going to stay where it's like. All right, let's go. That starts spinning. And Sarah Green as our magic screen roller coaster contestant. So Stanley and Sarah Green, please support the tracker office. If you want something from the souvenir stand, the long line has now been down a little bit with all these great souvenir specials we have going on. So run down there because there are only 4 autographed Arkansas Traveler baseballs left and only $5. Plus you pick those raised keychain purses up, those ladies. And all the other great souvenir specials tonight. 4 Travelers autographed baseballs left and only $5.
The El Paso Diablos having some trouble on the bases today as they've had a man picked off by the catcher Jeff Mathis, and Victor Hall helps them run out of a fifth inning opportunity. As there are runners at first and second and nobody out. Hall tries to advance to second base on a fly out to right field and was pegged by Nick Gourneau. So Joe Saunders has pitched 5 scoreless innings, and he is stranded. 5 men on base, 4 of them in scoring position. Well, Saunders having a fine game, and offensively the Travs equal to the Diablos in hits with 4. That last base hit for the Travs, a 3-run homer by Gomez, the hit of the game. Derek Gibson starts off the 5th, and Chris Cervantes in his second inning of work misses outside with a bender. It'll be Gibson, Mathis, and Smith. The 4, 5, and 6 batters against Cervantes. The 1-0 to Derek. Change. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Gibson is 0 for 2. He did reach in the first inning on a little ground ball that Jesus Cota flipped behind the pitcher Stockman as he covered at first base, and that error scored Gomez with a first run. The windup was about to go by Cervantes. Timeout quickly called by the umpire. So Cervantes never threw the pitch. And now he goes back to the wind and the 1-1. Gibson pokes it foul back into the first base seats. Cervantes faced only 2 batters after Gomez's home run. Got Kai Osborne a ground out, and Gourneau struck out on 3 pitches. Now the 1-2. Gibson takes a slow curve inside. 2-2. Travs only had 1 base hit until the 4th inning. Elward doubled, Murphy singled, and the home run by Gomez. 2-2 to Gibson, curve low, full count. Cervantes, a former starting pitcher, back in the bullpen this year. Gibson reaches for the curve and misses and strikes out for the second time. That's the 7th Trav batter to go down swinging tonight. Stockman whiffed 5 batters in 3 in the third, and now Cervantes has struck out 2 in a row. 1 gone. Here's Mathis. Mathis, a strikeout victim in the first inning. Took a base on balls in the third and was stranded at first base. First pitch, a strike on the curveball as Cervantes has gone to the hook quite a bit in the early going. Well, the talk last inning about where the El Paso franchise came from, because a lot of times you'd figure, hey, franchise was in El Paso for a long time. They probably just started there, but that wasn't the truth. Mathis takes inside. Now it's 1-1. Where did that El Paso franchise originate? This Diablo franchise originated in Galveston, Texas in 1919. Mathis a fly ball to right field, and Quentin waits for it. He'll make the catch, sending Mathis to his 12th at-bat without a hit in the series. 2 gone in the 5th. The Galveston team is called the Sand Crabs. They moved to Waco for 5 years in 1925, then moved back to Galveston. The franchise was in Shreveport, Victoria, Texas, Ardmore, Texas, Albuquerque, El Paso, and now that franchise, which began all the way back in 1919 in Galveston, moves to Springfield, Missouri for next year. There's a pitch in a strike zone to Smith. Casey is 0 for 2 and behind on the count already 0-1. The Arkansas franchise has originated in Tulsa back in 1933 as the Oilers. Smith takes low and in. Now, the Trav franchise has only been in 2 cities, Tulsa, from 1933 until 42, and the league shut down for a couple of years for the war. Tulsa came back into the league in 1946. Smith a foul ball, 1-2. Tulsa stayed in the Texas League from 46 until 65 when they went up to AAA, and pretty much switched places with the Arkansas franchise. Of course, the Travs were in the Pacific Coast League for 2 seasons and the International League for 1 year. Dropped back down to AA, and Tulsa took over at AAA. So the Travs have been in the league since 1966. Here's the 1-2 to Casey Smith. Swinging a tip off the catcher, and he just able to stay alive. One ball, 2 strikes on Smith. No outs. 2 outs. Nobody on. 4-0 lead for the Travelers. Here's Cervantes dealing, and Casey sends it back to the screen. Went after a high fastball. Still 1-2. One-two count. Here's the pitch to Smith. Swinging a high fly left center. Victor Hall into the gap, has it measured, has it in his glove as well. 3 up, 3 down in the Traveler 5th inning. And so it remains 4-0 with the Travs in front of the Diablos. We go into the 6th on the ticket. Total Sports 1380.
At the Electric Cowboy, I-30 with Vico Road exit, where there's always something going on. Electric Cowboy open Wednesday through Sunday. Doors open at 7:30 each night. And just listen to all that's going on. Wednesday night, tonight, $5 cash. Plus, free dance lessons at 60 cents. And enjoy $1.50 long night till midnight. Then, Thursday night, it's $1 long night and $3 pitches. Plus, live music every Thursday night. Yeah, there's always something going on the Electric Cowboy. I-30 with a Vico Road exit. I-30 with a Vico Road exit. Doors open 7:30 Wednesday through Sunday. Accident involving a large truck can cause a lot of damage. If you're injured, you need a law firm that knows what they do. And while facts differ and results vary,
We got a verdict as large as $12.5 million.
Let's launch square pass. We'll be able to take ball from 10 to 11:30 with Radio Liberty. Saturday, September the 25th. Let's launch square pass. The game ball, 10 to 11:30. Radio Liberty on September the 25th.
And we're back here at Raywinder Field as the Travs have taken a 4-0 lead. Into the 6th inning, and the Travs also have left-hander Joe Saunders back onto the pitcher's mound as he takes the hill, trying to go 6 innings. 5 shutout frames for Saunders, limiting the Diablos to 4 base hits. Jesus Cota pops the first pitch of the 6th inning out of play for a strike, and Saunders gets ahead. Last couple of starts, Saunders went 5 innings each time. His threshold has been 6 innings. He's done that once in a 5-1 victory against Tulsa on the 31st of July. Saunders will try to go 6 innings as Ben Grzelowski starts to warm up in the bullpen. 0-1 to Cota, swing and a tip held on by Mathis. Strike 2. Cota 0 for 2, hit a drive to the track in center field in the 3rd inning. Tommy Murphy left for at the fence and brought it in. Murphy made all 3 putouts in that frame. Saunders at Cota, 0-2, popped out of play. Let's check on Joe's alma mater and see how the Virginia Tech Hokies are doing tonight against Southern Cal. Sure Joe would want to know. Sure his family's listening in. They probably already know. 0-2, strike 3 called, and Saunders begins the 6th inning with a strikeout of Jesus Cota, his 4th K of the ballgame. That's against a couple of walks, 1 hit batter, and 4 base hits allowed.
Right fielder, Carlos Lucas.
Well, the Hokies are leading Southern Cal. You got to be kidding me. 10-7 in the 3rd quarter with 13-16 left to go. USC ranked 1st in the nation and trailing to unranked Virginia Tech. Joe would like to know that. Maybe Joe can pick up a win tonight. Here's Carlos Quentin. He takes a low fastball. Quentin has been on base twice. Hit by the 41st pitch of his season to break a minor league record. That was in the 2nd, and he had a single in the 4th. Saunders' pitch hits him. Oh, goodness. That's 42 times that Quentin has been hit. And his body language just says, I'm sick of being hit by pitches. And he's not making any threatening motions towards Saunders. That was a breaking ball that just got away from Joe, and that was the same kind of pitch that hit Quentin in the 2nd inning. But his feet, meaning his right foot, is so close to the plate that, there's really not much that Saunders can do. If he's going to skip some curveballs in the dirt, odds are that if they go inside to a right-handed batter, it's going to hit Quentin on that foot. And for the 2nd time, he is hit on the foot.
42 times in the summer season. That's gonna hurt.
And the announcement is made by our public address announcer, Kevin Cruz, letting everybody here know just how many times Quentin's been hit by a pitch. All right, all at once, everybody give him one big aww. So we'll see if he can run as DeRosa steps to the plate. He's 1 for 1 with a walk and a single. First pitch fouled away, strike 1. Think of all the times Quentin's been hit on his feet. He's also got to get hit on his shoulder quite a bit because he dives in so much. 0-1 to DeRosa. Strike 2 on the outside edge. No balls, 2 strikes to DeRosa. 4-0 score. The Travs in front of the 6th inning. Mike Elward also dives into the plate, but not nearly as much as Quentin does. 0-2 to DeRosa. Swing and a miss. Saunders strikes him out. And Joe now with 6 strikeouts. Let's double check that. 1, 2, 3. That's his 5th strikeout of the game. Adam Haley steps in. He struck out in the 4th inning. Joe Saunders, a fabulous start thus far. Haley 0 for 1, a sack bunt of the second and the strikeout. And he lines one down third, foul by a couple of feet. Now, some players wear being hit by pitches as a badge of courage. They're also quite proud of that idea. That they're not worried about taking one for the team. 0-1 to Haley. Strike 2 called on the inside corner. Some batters are a little quicker than others at getting away from pitches that would otherwise hit the slower man. I don't know, maybe guys that get hit by pitches a little slower than the ones who don't. Saunders throws a pitch that gets behind Jeff Mathis. It was well outside. Out to second base goes Quentin. It's called a wild pitch. Saunders throws his second wild pitch with Arkansas. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Haley. 4-0 lead for the Travs. Saunders working in probably his final inning of the night. Saunders the stretch. Here's the pitch to Haley. Swing and a miss, and Saunders strikes out the side in the 6th inning. Nice way to finish his outing, as we'd anticipate that he won't be coming out again. So he finishes with 6 strikeouts and 4 hits in 6 scoreless innings. Nice job by Joe Saunders. He is helping the Travs to a 4-0 lead as we move to the bottom of the 6th. On the ticket, Total Sports 1380.
Pick up America's #1 team grade. You hit a home run with your family. With more than 300 varieties made right here in America, there are endless ways to engage to the craze. Stop by your local grocer for ideas on how to create mouth-watering appetizers that the entire family's going to love. The perfect snack to accompany any game, and you'll be a winner with your family. The power of cheese.
Lush variety. Sonic got it, others don't. The hotter it gets outside, the more choices you get filled out on the inside. Nothing compares to Sonic's famous Lush with classic flavors like cherry, grape, and orange. Flavors like lemon, berry, strawberry, and lime. You can mix and match flavors to create your very own Lush. Or try the latest creation and find tasty Powerade Lush. Available for a limited time only. The Lush is Sonic. Nobody gives you more ways to make it. It's not just good. Sonic good.
Our company is currently going through a transition, and I'm part of that transition. I needed new technology, new ideas for taking one. Norman Cookie earned a Bachelor of Applied Science degree in Electronics Engineering Technology in 2002, and a Bachelor of Applied Science degree in Automated Manufacturing Technology in 2003 from the ICT Tech in Indianapolis, Indiana. To find out more about ICT Tech, 1-800-ICT. Ready? Yeah.
Houston Astros wristband to beat the Cubs today, 7-6.
Traveler Baseball tomorrow afternoon at Raywinter Field at 3 o'clock. With discount tickets available at Academy Sports and Outdoors in West Little Rock, or a couple cans of beans from Del Monte or any Del Monte product. Doesn't have to just be the green beans, which is my favorite. Bring a couple of labels from Del Monte products or the cash register receipt from Harvest Foods out to the park tomorrow night to get a free general admission ticket, and that actually is a day game starting at 3 o'clock. Jim Elder, Good Sport Fund, presents the last kids clinic of the season on field with the players and the Trav coaches. Kids clinic begins at 1:45, and every kid to the clinic receives a free Traveler baseball. 6th inning, Jason Espedo leads off and takes a curve from Chris Cervantes for strike 1. Travs lead it 4-0. Cervantes pitching in his 3rd inning. In fact, he's faced 5 batters and set them all down. Espedo is 0 for 2. A tough pitcher here facing a side-arming left-hander, and that's on the outside corner, called strike 2. Phil Stockman, the starting pitcher and right now the man of record for the Diablos, went 3 in the 3rd innings, allowing 4 runs on 4 hits. Espedo reaches for the curve, pops it up to third baseman Adam Haley, and he'll come on the infield grass to make the catch. Espedo is 0 for 3, and there's 1 out in the 6th. Stockman gave up 3 earned runs. The run scored in the first was unearned on the error by Cota, the first baseman. The 3-run homer by Rudy Gomez, however, All those runs were earned in the fourth. Meanwhile, El Paso has gone scoreless on 4 hits against Joe Saunders. And Grzelowski continues to warm up in the bullpen, so Saunders is finished. Here's Elward. Strike one called on the backdoor breaking pitch. Elward reached on a walk by Stockman in the second. And Elward hit a double to the right field fence with 1 out in the fourth and scored on Gomez's homer. Here's a fly high to right field. Quentin, a long run, but he's underneath it and makes the catch. 2 outs towards the corner. Base is empty for Murphy. Texas League update, and it's Tulsa leading Round Rock 4-3. The Express had a 3-run lead erased as Tulsa rallied for 4 runs in the 6th. Drillers trying to avoid being swept. San Antonio and Wichita have played 5 innings, no runs in that ball game. And Frisco leads Midland 4-0 in the top of the 5th. Midland comes out to Little Rock tomorrow for the last 4-game series of the season at Ray Winder Field. Murphy stepping in, had his first hit of the series with a single in the 4th inning and scored on Rudy's home run, but Murphy is a little fly ball harmlessly to the right fielder Quentin. 3 up, 3 down in a rather quick 6th inning. Cervantes has been perfect over 2 2/3, with the Travs lead at 4-0 as we go to the 7th on the ticket. Total Sports 1380.
Combination of 7 or 11 with the Giant Dice. So the 4 free tickets, 93. We've got 23 winners this year so far. So we get 20 more. Oh, we got a 3. We got 4. And 4. Hey kids, 14 and under. Don't forget that key following the game tonight. You go on the home base and run bases to start the tryouts to secure it on the bases and keep the free game at 8 o'clock. Also, baseball fans, Wednesday is the last game of the homestand. That's the end of the year. So make sure you come out on Wednesday night because everybody gets to run the bases on Wednesday. Also, tomorrow, at Ranger Field, is Illinois Panther Day. Also, the first 500 fans in 3 Darren First and Gold Glove here. Just over a big score club for kids.
Stand by.
That's certainly one for
ready? Set. Go.
Monday is Arkansas didn't represent family night, so make sure you're looking for the sports section for discount tickets. There's also UAM.
6 innings in the books at Ray Winder Field, and the Arkansas Travelers lead it by a score of 4-0 against the El Paso Diablos. Totals after 6. Diablos no runs, 4 hits, 1 error, and the Travs with 4 runs on 4 base hits and no errors. The big difference today, the error by the Diablos leading to an unearned run in the first, and a 3-run home run by Rudy Gomez in the Arkansas half of the 4th inning. Also, part of the difference was the starting pitching by Joe Saunders. 6 scoreless innings for him. Struck out 6 batters, including a strikeout of the side in the 6th. And Saunders gives way to Ben Grzelowski, who comes on to pitch in the 7th inning. So it'll be up to the Traveler bullpen for the final 3 innings today. Grzelowski, a right-handed pitcher out of Miami, Florida, makes his 8th appearance with the Travs. And facing the bottom third of the order, Mike Morgan, the 7-man, leads off. First pitch, Morgan, a hot line drive right to Rudy Gomez, and he spears it for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out. Nice way to start for Grzelowski as he got Morgan to lean over the plate and hit a pitch that probably was outside. Todd West stepping up next. He had the last single to the outfield for the Diablos with a grounder up the middle to start the 5th inning. El Paso hasn't had much trouble setting the table. They've had the leadoff man reach in 3 innings, and in fact they've had their first 2 batters of an inning reach in the 2nd, 4th, and 5th innings, but still haven't had a chance to really bring a man home. Saunders pitched very well with his back up against the wall. West takes Grzelowski's breaking pitch inside 1-0. West, a strikeout victim, in a spot where the Diablos needed the ball to be put in play. That was in the second inning. West was batting with the bases loaded and only one out. West struck out on 3 pitches. 1-0 from Grzelowski on the outside edge, strike 1. Saunders pitched perfect in the first and the third innings, but other than that, he hit a man in scoring position quite a bit. Saunders leaving 6 men on base, 5 of them at second or third. Ground ball foul by West, right side, strike 2. So Saunders will have one more start left. He'll be starting the game in Frisco, the first game of that series at Dr. Pepper 7-Up Ballpark. 2 Thursdays, or next Thursday, that'll be his final game of the year. West reaches for a breaking pitch, a little dribbler outside the line at first, foul. Grzelowski, he's making his second appearance of this series, actually his third appearance of the series. Pitched in the first 2 games, an inning and a third total, only allowing 1 hit. Grzelowski has been very difficult to hit. 4 hits in 9 innings. The right-hander's 1-2. West swings and misses, and Grzelowski strikes him out on the breaking pitch. Hope I remember the name correctly, because I know he'd be listening. But hello to Joe Grzelowski, Ben's father, listening in Florida. He's been an avid webcast listener wherever his son has been playing. And 2 years ago, I know Mr. Grzelowski was listening just about every night on the webcast at Travs.com. So thank you for listening in. Now it's Victor Hall batting, 2 outs, no one on, corners up. Hall drag bunt single in the 5th inning, and he fouls the first pitch off his foot, strike 1. But Hall made a big mistake after his bunt single, trying to advance to second base on the fly ball by Marlon Williams. Now the stretch in the 0-1 to Hall. Bender, strike 2 call. Grzelowski has that slider working under his control. 4-0 lead for the Travelers. Grzelowski has allowed only 1 hit and 2 base runners in his last 5 innings. He's ahead of Hall 0-2. And now the infield backs up off the corners. Grzelowski kicks, delivers. Fastball low and away. And you use the word kick to describe Grzelowski's delivery. He really doesn't kick all that much. More or less, he slides off the mound. A fluid-like motion in which he's submarining the ball in there. Here's the 1-2 to Hall. Swung on, tapped over the mound, off Grzelowski's glove towards short. Kiosko charges, gets the ball, and throws Hall out at first. 1-6-3 ends the 7th inning, and it's time for the stretch at Ravender Field. The Travelers lead it 4-0 on the ticket. Total Sports 1380.
The voice of the Travelers, Mr. Phil good and loud tonight. So now's your chance to your way to sit and take me out to the ball game.
Crosshouses, member of the board of Webster University. All Webster campuses around the world share the same belief. Education is more than just a degree. It's real knowledge. The real world success.
For more information on graduate degrees at Webster University.
Ready, set, go.
Bottom of the seventh here at Ravender Field. Travs up on the Diablos 4-0. Travs trying to avoid a 4-game sweep and finally get a win on the Diablos. Travs had taken the first 2 games of the series last week at Cohen Stadium and looked pretty good doing it too, outscoring them 4-3 and 8-3. But then the Diablos put a couple of hurtings on the Travs, combining on 2 games 37-6. Tight games from those part of the first 3 of this series. Rudy Gomez leads off the 7th inning. Takes a pitch outside, and now Cervantes back with the next pitch. Fouled off by Gomez. Fine game for Rudy today. Hasn't had much work to deal with at second base. Only a couple of plays have come his way, but at the plate, Gomez has been up 3 times, been on base 3 times. 2 walks, and the 3-run home run in the 4th. Here's a pitch grounded over the mound towards short, and Duren is there waiting for it at second. They'll throw Rudy out. Gomez out for the first time today. Cervantes back on the mound for his 4th inning. He faces 9 batters and retires them all. Actually, that's 8 batters and retires them all. And Gomez was the 9th. Cayaspo was the first batter that Cervantes faced. That was after Gomez homered in the 4th inning against Stockman. Stockman's lifted. Cervantes came in and got Cayaspo to ground to short. First pitch here to Alberto, and he fisted high to center. Coming in, Williams. Can of corn from Marlon Williams, and there's 2 outs. So Cayaspo, that might be his final at-bat of the series. If it is, he'll finish the series hitless in 15 at-bats. He'd come in with hits in 11 of 13 games. He was hitting just under 400 during that stretch. But wow. Cayaspo lying dormant offensively in this series. 2 gone. Here's Nick Gourneau. Gourneau was the first traveler to reach on a hit today, beating out a ground ball in the 3rd inning, but other than that, hasn't done much of the plate, striking out in the 1st and 4th innings. Cervantes from the windup. Gourneau takes a breaking pitch for strike 1. The left-hander will start to warm again in the Diablo bullpen as Cervantes is out nearing his limit. The 0-1 to Nick. Swing and a foul off his foot. Bounces in front of the plate, but it is called foul by the umpire, A.J. Wendell. In that bullpen for El Paso is left-hander Bill White. I haven't seen him in this series. And White appeared against the Travs, I believe, in the first half of the season. About 2 runs in the 3rd of an inning. 0-2 to Gourneau. The leg kick by Cervantes, and the pitch. Curve, swing and a miss, and Gourneau strikes out for the 3rd time. Cervantes perfect after 3 2/3 of relief. He'll head to the 8th inning, and this game is looking in favor of the Travs, pitching very well. 4-0 Arkansas. We're back after 90 seconds on the ticket. Total Sports 1380.
Brandon Hall is 7 years old. Matthew Avery is 7 years old. Carson Williams, 10 years old. Drew Samuelson is 10 years old. Robert Dean, 11 years old. Addison Keith Stevens is 5 years old. Dan Clary is 16. Hunter Earhart is 12. Also happy birthday to John Franklin, Harold Peterson, Sue Daniel, and Dave Boone. Also, announcing the dugout tonight. The West Coast Assembly of God. Featuring Diablos, Bible Baptist Church, and the Alexander United Center Group.
Scott, no Garden Sun. First line of the city.
Stand by. Ready.
The round of applause for Comcast, tonight's sponsors of the Arkansas Travelers. Don't forget, is Rices right again. Leading off for El Paso, center fielder, Ryan Williams.
Back for the 8th inning at Ray Winder Field. Travelers lead 4-0 over the El Paso Diablos. And it's Ben Grzelowski out for the second inning of his relief stint, and Steve Andrade begins to warm in the Trav bullpen. Grzelowski carried Joe Saunders after the 6th inning, came on for the 7th, set the Diablos down in order. Top of the order here in the 8th, Marlon Williams fouls off a pitch for strike one. Saunders, 6 scoreless innings on 4 hits. Grzelowski trying to get through the 8th and pass this lead over to Andrade, who has just started to warm up. Williams is 0 for 3. Keeping him off base has been huge. Corners up just a little as Grzelowski delivers the 0-1. Curve down and in, 1 ball, 1 strike. Keone Duren is on deck, followed by Jesus Cota. Again, only 4 base hits for the Diablos. Last one came on Victor Hall's bunt single in the 5th, so they've gone through the order one more time without a hit. 1-1 to Williams. Strike 2 on a slider, outside edge of the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Grzelowski has been dominating ever since the rockiest outing of just about any reliever I've seen this year, and Trav's relief corps, of course, have had plenty of rocky outings. Here's the 1-2, and Williams swings and fouls it back. Grzelowski entered a game at El Paso on the 18th of August, walked the first 4 batters he faced and only threw 3 strikes. There was an error committed. He gave up 1 hit and 7 runs. That was an inning that saw the Diablos send 17 batters to the plate. They scored 11 times in the 22-3 demolishing of the Travelers. Things have gone much better for Grzelowski ever since. 1-2 to Williams, way outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Since then, Grzelowski has tossed 5 1/3 innings, allowing only 1 hit and 1 walk. No runs. In fact, there's only been 1 man to second base over that stretch. Grzelowski needs Mathis to go through the signs again. Williams stayed in the box. Now the stretch by Ben. And the 2-2. Fastball fouled away. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Couple other finals out of the American League. Seattle defeated Kansas City in the first game of a doubleheader 9-7. And they're right now in the bottom of the 9th with Kansas City leading 3-2 in the second game. There's a pitch outside to Williams, and the count runs full. The Boston Red Sox keep pace with the Yankees, defeating Detroit 5-1. Pedro Martinez delivers his 14th win. Grzelowski's payoff to Williams, low and outside, and a leadoff walk to the speedy Marlon Williams. There he goes to first base. Vernon Ronan appears and jogs out to the mound. With that win, the Red Sox will remain 5.5 games in back of the Yankees. But Boston, more importantly, stays half a game, actually a game and a half in front of the Angels. Halos lost earlier today to Minnesota. So Boston's lead in the wild card to a game and a half over the Angels. The Texas Rangers started today 2 games out. Rangers currently tied at 3 in the top of the 7th inning with the Baltimore Orioles. 1 game in the National League in progress. 2 teams out of contention, with Arizona leading Cincinnati 5-2. That's in the bottom of the 8th. Kernan finished to talk with Grzelowski, and now Keone Duren steps in. 4-0 score. Travs in front. Duren, who was 4 for 5, scoring 3 runs yesterday, has been held in check 0 for 3 today. Williams a good lead. Here's Grzelowski dealing low and in, and it gets away from Mathis all the way to the screen, and Williams gets to second on the wild pitch. So a little warning sign right there, as Grzelowski wasn't near the strike zone on a couple of pitches to Williams and misses badly with his first offering to Duren.
Brandon Shomar is 14 today.
So forget about the double play. Diablos are going to try to rally here in the 8th inning. Grzelowski throws the 1-0, and Duren takes ball 2 on the slider. Grzelowski trying to set up Andrade. I'd rather not bring Andrade on in the 8th inning, but he can get 6 outs if needed. Duren pops the 2-0 pitch out of play. 2 balls and a strike on the shortstop of El Paso. After his 3 at-bats tonight, he's 5 for 15 in the series. Bill White continues to warm up in the El Paso bullpen, so he'll come on to pitch the 8th. Cervantes was perfect in 3 2/3. Williams at second, nobody out. 2-1 Duren. Grzelowski's pitch. Fastball pulled foul. 2-2. Grzelowski throws a good sinking fastball. He can also put tailing action on it and try to move it outside from the left-handed batter. Duren a little bit slow getting back into the box. Looked like that last foul ball might have actually hit off of his back heel. Ben's best pitch is a sweeping slider. It's a lot of movement on it. Almost like he's pulling a yo-yo string. 2-2 count. Grzelowski gets the sign. To the belt, a check at second. And now the pitch to Duren. Ball low, full count. Skipper Ty Boykin watching from the top step of the home dugout. And his familiar pose leaning up against the fence. 3-2. Outside, ball 4, and Grzelowski walks his second consecutive man. You just wonder how long Ty Boykin can watch Grzelowski work deep in the count and put men on base. Well, we now have our answer. We can't watch him do it anymore as he's out of the dugout, and Grzelowski is out of the game. Boykin would have rather had Grzelowski pitch the 8th inning to set up Andrade for the 9th. Instead, it's going to be Andrade coming on in the 8th inning in a save situation. So we'll give you 60 seconds for a break. Brought to you by Fox Sports Southwest, where you can tune in tonight at 10 o'clock, as every night at 10 for the Southwest Regional Sports Report on Fox Sports Southwest. Check your local listings. Grzelowski out, Andrade in, and we're back after this. 4-0 Travs on the ticket. Total Sports 1380.
Baseball fans, also this area. Ices are now only $1. And popcorn, regular popcorn only at 56 cents, and fish out of popcorn only at $1. This just in, regular nachos are only $1.50. So if you have about $5, you can get like a team of flushy Russian hour in the ice. Your choice, chicken sandwich or hot dog, only $1.50. Nachos only $1.50. Popcorn, every size, $1, regular size 56, and ices only $1. Pitch for the Travelers, number 9, Steve Andrade.
Stand by. Ready, set, go.
Steve Andrade comes out to relieve Ben Grzelowski in the 8th inning. Andrade inherits 2 men on base. Marlon Williams at second. Keone Duran at first. There's nobody out. Grzelowski works 1 inning, a perfect 7th, but walks both men he faces in the 8th with 1 wild pitch. So more of the same from Grzelowski, as he's not had trouble allowing hits. It's just been the walks that he's given up. So with the 2 walks tonight, Grzelowski has walked 10 batters in 10 innings and only 4 base hits. Travs 4, the El Paso Diablos nothing. El Paso had more chances to score against Joe Saunders, as they had men in scoring position in 4 of the first 6 innings, never bringing anyone home. Saunders still in line for the win. Grzelowski is responsible for both men on base, and Andrade makes his 33rd appearance. 2 wins, 2 losses, 7 saves, and a .274 earned run average. His goal is to get 6 outs. First to get 3 outs in the 8th inning and then go on to the 9th. Jesus Cota is the batter. He's 0 for 3. First pitch from Steve low and in. Andrade has pitched for the most part very well since coming down from AAA Salt Lake, where he'd gone 0-1 with 3 saves in 12 games and an ERA over 4.5. Here's the 1-0 to Cota. Left-handed batter with a sinking fly ball into right field. That'll fall in front of Gorneau for a base hit. 1 base per runner. They're loaded up for the cleanup man, Quentin. Ball wasn't hit well by Cota. He golfed one, almost like a 9-iron, and it got over the second baseman easily and right in front of Gorneau. But Andrade, while, as I mentioned, he'd been pitching fairly well, he's had his rocky outings the last couple of times out. Although he hasn't given up a run in 2 games, he has allowed 4 base hits and a walk in 3 innings leading up to this outing. And now the hit by Cota. The tying run comes to the plate, and it is Quentin, who's hit 5 home runs. He's been on base all 3 times today, hit by 2 pitches and a single in the 4th. First pitch from Andrade, very low, skips in front of home, and Mathis stays in front of it, and that'll save a run. So Andrade doesn't appear to have outstanding command, at least not at the start of this appearance. For Steve, it's all about the ability to throw those breaking pitches for strikes. His fastball is good enough, but Steve lives on the slider and curve. Quentin, right-handed batter, 37 RBIs in 54 games, 2 RBIs in this series. Steve to the stretch, timeout is called. The infield will look for a double play. And with the Travs leading 4-0, it can have the luxury of giving up a run if they can get 2 outs. Here's the 1-0 to Quentin. Swing and a miss. Home run cut on the curveball. And the count is 1-1. Andrade, the last time he pitched against Quentin, was as part of that 15-3 loss at El Paso last Thursday night, and Quentin took Andrade deep on a hanging curveball. So they do have a little history. Here's the 1-1. Quentin takes low, and Mathis digs it up. 2 balls and a strike. Marlon Williams at third base. Keone Duran at second. Jesus Cota at first. Nobody out. Andrade is ready on 2-1. The kick and the pitch. Quentin swings, grounded to third, taken by Smith. On to Gomez at second, 1. Here's the throw to first. Rack him up. A double play. Just what the doctor ordered. Williams scores from third on the double play, so that lead is cut to 3 runs. But that was a huge twin killing. A possible rally killer. No longer is the tying run at the plate. Now 1 man on base to Duran at third, and Mike DeRosa steps in. DeRosa is 1 for 2. He struck out in his last at-bat. Andrade will go from the stretch as usual. First pitch, and DeRosa takes a high heater. Double play behind Andrade is the 5th that's been turned behind him this season. And the 10th double play the Travs have turned in 8 games. 1-0 on DeRosa. Here's the next pitch. DeRosa takes it inside. 2 balls, no strikes. That run charged to Greslovsky, and it is an earned run. He's still responsible for Duren at third. DeRosa is 1 for 12 in this series. Actually 13. The 2-0, swing and a miss. Really yanking his head on the fastball. DeRosa put a lot of oomph on the swing, but still couldn't see the ball as he yanked his head. 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swinging a ground ball outside third. That's foul as it rolls all the way to the bullpen. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Andrade 1 strike out, getting away from a jam. Well, the Diablos have had numerous chances like this. This wasn't the first time they had 2 men on and nobody out. It wasn't the first time that they'd had the bases loaded before there were 2 outs. Still, they've only been able to manage 1 run on a double play, and Quentin didn't even get credit for an RBI. Here's Andrade's 2-2, and DeRosa swings and hits it high to center. Murphy has it measured. Right there, he'll make the catch. And the Travs dodge a bullet as they give up just a 1 run on 1 hit. And Andrade strands a runner at third. So it's coming up to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Arkansas Travelers 4, the El Paso Diablos 1 on the Ticket Total Sports 1380.
You must be 14 or under.
First one, aisle 5 by the other. Now, Tony Stewart, he jumped the green flag again. Hey, stop throwing cereal boxes at me. Whatever, stop grabbing my
up the staircase across the back row of the grandstand. Team 5 and under
NASCAR
goes
fans
to the
have a one-track line.
line.
Casey Coach says I need to the register for Coca-Cola. Here's a soft drink of NASCAR. Coca-Cola is real. Slush variety. Some got it, others don't. The hotter it gets outside, the more choices you need to chill down on the inside. Nothing compares to Sonic's famous slushes with classic flavors like cherry, grape, and orange. Real fresh slushes like lemonade, strawberry, and lime. Even mix and match flavors to create your very own slush. Try the latest creation, find 10 calories slush. For a limited time only. So easy to Sonic. Nobody gives you more ways to beat it. Not just good. Sonic good. Board. Nothing to do. Nothing on the team. Arkansas Travelers Baseball is here for a few seasons. Great professional baseball, great food, and the most affordable entertainment in Arkansas. So get out here. Get out of the house for baseball and a whole lot more. Look for special promotions
Stand by.
at local retailers.
Ready, set, go.
Travs lead dwindles down to 3 runs after the Diablos get their first run in the top of the 8th inning. 4-1 score. Travs have been in front since the first inning. Rudy Gomez scored the first run of the game, drawing a walk. Went to second on a ground out, to third on a wild pitch, and scored on an error. Gomez knocked in the other 3 runs with a home run in the 4th to dead center field. The Travs hadn't had a base runner since the home run by Gomez, as Chris Cervantes went 3 2/3 perfect relief innings, striking out 3 batters. And now Cervantes passes the baton over to Bill White. White makes his first outing of this series and his 29th of the year, all out of the pen. 2 wins, 3 losses. White with an ERA at 6.61. The left-hander out of Alexander City, Alabama, 6'4", 215 pounds. Derek Gibson leads off with Mathis and Smith to follow. Gibson is 0 for 3. And out of the 3 batters that will bat in the 8th inning, only 1 has been on base on his own volition, and that was Mathis on a walk in the 3rd. Gibson reached on the error by Jesus Cota, and the same play that scored Gomez in the 1st inning. White had a quick conference with the catcher, Matt Morgan. And now Morgan squats behind the dish. Gibson striking out in his last 2 at-bats. One against the starter Stockman, one time against Cervantes. And White misses low and in with the first pitch for ball 1. 4 runs on only 4 base hits for the Travs. 3 of those hits came in a string in the 4th inning. Elward doubled, Murphy singled, and Gomez homered. Other than that, the base runners have been few and far between. In fact, it's been 12 base runners, actually 11 batters, since the Travs last had a man reach. 1-0 on Derek Gibson. White kicks and deals. Ball high, 2-0. 5th inning right now in Frisco, and the Rough Riders still ahead of Midland 4-0. Frisco entered today leading the East Division by 4 games over Wichita. The Wranglers lead San Antonio 2-0 in the 8th. Gibson takes outside, ball 3. The Tulsa Drillers, in their final gasp in the second half, lead Round Rock 5-3. Round Rock had a 3-0 lead after 5 innings. Tulsa scored 4 times in the 6th and once in the 7th. 3-0 to Gibson. Strike call at the letters. Gibson was on his way to first base, and he'll make that return to the batter's area. 3-1 count. Here's White's 3-1. Gibson takes another strike, full count. Here's the payoff to Derek. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out for the 3rd time. White got him on a changeup. So a rough night for Gibson. As the designated hitter goes 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. The lone time he put the ball in play, it led to a run. Here's Jeff Mathis. Maybe Mathis collects a hit, or he finishes the series 0 for 12. White winds and deals inside to Jeff. You know, it'd be amazing to see the Travs pick up a victory after not having a man reach for the last 4 innings of a game. That would say a lot about the pitching tonight, especially that of Joe Saunders. 1-0 count to Mathis. Here's the pitch. Ball high and inside. 2-0. Saunders, the star of the game for the Travs, even though Rudy Gomez has also had a very good game at the plate. Saunders pitched out of trouble in the 2nd, 4th, and 5th innings. Here's the 2-0 to Mathis. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Travs starting pitchers over the last 9 games had gone 1-6. Both Corey Lee and Willie Collazo had hard luck losses in the first 2 games of this series, each throwing 7 effective innings, but the Trav offense only managed 1 run in the 2 games total. Ball high and outside to Mathis, and he's ahead 3-1 on White. Last night, Marco Sullivan in an emergency start pitched fairly well, earning himself 1 more start. He'll start the final game of the Midland series. The 3-1 to Mathis. Swung on, hit high to center. Williams back a few steps, but he's got room in front of the track to make the catch. So Mathis, unless we go extras, will finish this series 0 for 13. Casey Smith coming up next. When the Diablos come to bat in the 9th inning, they'll start at the number 6 man, Adam Haley, followed by Morgan and West. You get the feeling the Diablos had their chance in the 8th inning with the bases loaded for the cleanup man. But Quentin, instead of delivering the big hit, bounced into a double play. Casey will take a fastball high. He's 0 for 3. The ground out, a strikeout, and a fly out. White from the left side with a 1-0 pitch, and Casey swings late and misses. 1-1. One ball, one strike on Casey Smith. That pitch high and inside, 2-1. Bases empty, 2 outs. The 2-1 to Smith. Strike 2 on the slider. Travs might win this ball game without really any help from the middle third of the order. Gibson, Mathis, Smith, no hits. Now White's 2-2 to Casey. Ball outside, full count. The on-deck man, Jason Espedo, he's gone 0 for 3. Travs have had some production from the bottom 2 hitters, Elwood and Murphy, with hits each. And the top man of the order, Rudy Gomez. Other than that, it has been a quiet game offensively. The 3-2, high and outside, and Smith reaches on the 2-out walk, breaking the string of consecutive Arkansas batters retired. It has been 13 in a row sent down by Cervantes and White before Smith draws the 2-out walk. And now it's Jason Espedo stepping in. He's 0 for 3. Grounded to first base, is struck out and popped to third. Left-handed batter, 4-1 score. Travs in front, last of the 8th inning. And White working at the belt. First pitch, Jason swings, bouncing ball to the mound, played by White. Flips to first base to end the inning. So Espedo goes 0 for 4. The Travs leave a runner on base in the 8th inning. Well, the Travs looking to end the losing streak at 4 games. We'll be back for the top of the 9th inning. The Travs lead 4-1. This is the ticket. Total Sports 1380.
It's 14 and under. Line out to run the bases. Over the top of the grandstand, the first base line with a home seat car, the line. It's 5 and under. Go to the front of the line. Also, don't forget, on Wednesday, the 19th home stand of the season, everybody wants the bases on Wednesday. Everybody. So we want to make sure we have this place out for last game on Wednesday. Also, don't forget, tomorrow is Aloha Sunday. Be sure to wear your Hawaiian shirt to the game. Take part in the activities. Jim Elder, good sports spot tickets tonight at 1:45. Parents bring the kids out and let them enjoy being on the field with the Arkansas Travelers and a lot of great activities. Stay open at 1:30.
That monkeys are everybody's least favorite thing. Well, the Travs and the Arkansas Democrats have a reason for baseball fans to look forward to Monday. That's because Monday's or Democrat Gazette family night here at the ballpark. You just pick up a copy of Monday's Democrat Gazette and you'll find a discount family ticket right there in the sports section. That's right. It's a coupon that admits the whole family.
Ready, set, go.
Time for the Travs to end a losing streak. 4-1 leading into the top of the 9th inning, and Steve Andrade comes on after he pitched through a little gem in the 8th. Inherited 2 runners, gave up a single, then with the bases loaded and no outs, induced a double play off the bat of the cleanup man Carlos Quentin, and ended the inning with a fly out to center. It'll be Adam Haley, Matt Morgan, and Todd West. 3 batters on their first year at Double-A, hitting in the 9th inning. Haley first, he's 0 for 2, couple of strikeouts and a swing and a miss at the first pitch of the inning. It will be a pitcher warming up in the pen. It's left-hander Willie Collazo throwing. You just got a feeling Collazo's just throwing between starts. We're not going to see him come on to relieve if Andrade gets into a jam. 0-1 to Haley, another swing and a miss on that big curveball. 0-2. When you see Andrade's curveball up close, you certainly can see why Texas League managers voted it the best breaking pitch in the Texas League, according to Baseball America's Best Tools survey. 0-2 to Haley. Fought away foul towards the picnic terrace in left field. Still 0-2 to Haley. Andrade is on in a save situation because he inherited 2 men on in the 8th inning, so the tying run would have been on deck. Now the 0-2. Haley takes strike 3. A letter-high slider, and Andrade strikes out Haley. The 3rd time Haley's gone down on strikes today. And for Andrade, his 52nd strikeout in 44 innings. Now Matt Morgan steps up. He's 0-2 with a walk. Travs have lost 5 consecutive games to the Diablos, and on the season, the Diablos are 6-0 at Ray Winder Field. Hopefully that's all about to end, as Morgan swings and misses at a first pitch. Morgan is 0-2. Took a walk in the 2nd to load the bases. And Saunders pitched out of that jam. Morgan ended the 4th with a flyout to right, leaving a runner in scoring position, and then lined out to start the 7th. The 0-1 from Andrade is away for a ball. 1-1. Morgan back in there. Andrade settles. Here's the 1-1. Just missed outside. 2 balls, 1 strike to the backup catcher of the Diablos. Andrade's 2-1 pitch in there for a strike on the bender. 2-2. Andrade goes to that breaking pitch quite a bit for the strikeout. His fastball still has some juice. Here's the 2-2. Fastball grounded off the end of the bat, dribbling away from the line at first, and it is foul. Elward picks it up right at the coach's area. Bases empty, 1 out. The Travs lead by 3 in the top of the 9th. Andrade with a 2-2 pitch. Grounded foul again. This one to the third base side as Morgan really had to hold back his swing as Andrade took something off the curveball. Morgan just able to hold back enough. He stays alive. The count remains 2-2. Andrade will deliver. Strike 3 called. The 2nd consecutive batter that's taken a 3rd strike. Morgan took a curve on the inside edge. 1 out to go, and the Diablos will have played their final game at Ray Winder Field. They'll be coming back next year as the Springfield Cardinals for opening day around April the 8th. Todd West, the batter, he's 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Trav pitchers have whiffed 9 today. West, a hot shot outside third, foul ball. That really wasn't hit all that well. It was hit on a line past third base, but it barely made it towards the bullpen. Third baseman Smith was close to the line, not exactly guarding it. And West falls behind, 0-1. Midland in town tomorrow, 3 o'clock start time. 2:45 ITT Tech pregame show. Well, the Travs trying to win on their final Saturday night at home. 0-1 to West. Fastball tight. 1-1. Middle infielders very deep. West collected a single in the 5th inning as the Diablos got 2 men on base to start that frame. But he only advanced to third. The 1-1. West takes the curve. Strike 2. Boy, Andrade has that pitch working. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's Andrade's pitch. Swing and a miss, but it gets away from Mathis and rolls to the fence on the left side. That will be a strikeout, but West reaches first base on a wild pitch. It does count as a strikeout, but not the final out of the game. Victor Hall will step up. There was wild pitches that did in the Travs yesterday in the 9th inning. And it's actually the second time this series that West reaches on a strikeout. In the second game of this series, West reached on a strikeout in the 1st inning and then scored the first run in a 6-0 El Paso win. Now Hall grounds 1 foul, strike 1. That door not yet shut. Smith anticipating a bunt at the cut of the grass at third. West runs with the 0-1 pitch, and it's called for strike 2. No throw to second. No stolen base for West. It's called a defensive indifference. 0-2 on Hall. Timeout called by the batter. Now Hall back in there, and Johnny's pitch. Fastball high. The count is 1-2 on Hall. 2 outs, top 9. Andrade's next pitch. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out 4 batters in the 9th inning. And ends this one with a changeup. The Travs avoid the sweep against El Paso and send the Diablos out of town with a 4-1 Arkansas win. And you can put it in the books. A pretty well-played game tonight for the Travs. They do not commit an error. Only collect 4 base hits and a pretty clean 4-1 win. Andrade gets the save. Saunders wins his 3rd in a row. And Rudy Gomez leads the offense, scoring 2 runs and knocking in 3 with his 5th home run of the season. So we'll have a break. We'll return with the Allstate Insurance post-game report on the ticket. Total Sports 1380.
He doesn't get much attention. You've never heard of third base coach Ruby, have you? But he's vital to the success of the team. His experience and knowledge of the game is the difference between scoring a run or getting thrown out of the plate. Allstate agents play a similar role to the third base coach. Although they have experience with much more than just
Gomez not choking up. In fact, he's hanging that last pinky off the end of the bat. 2-2 pitch, swinging the drive to center. Hit it well. Going back, Williams, and it's gone.
That's Allstate stands. Are you in good hands?
To get a team big league tonight, just visit your local Allstate agent. Call 1-800-ALLSTATE or click on Allstate.com. Insurance budget with eligibility and competition. Allstate Insurance Company, Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company, and Allstate Indemnity Company. Illinois.
They take things by selling Miller Lite. Miller, they come. Miller Brew Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Travs avoid the sweep and end a 4-game losing streak. They had lost 5 in a row to the El Paso Diablos, but tonight the Travs cruise for a 4-1 victory. Hi, fans. Phil Elson with you here on the Ticket Total Sports 1380 as we get into the Allstate Insurance postgame report. Allstate deserves... let's start that over. Allstate thinks you deserve a relationship with a real person. That's Allstate stand. Are you in good hands? Things started off well for the Travs as they took advantage of a leadoff walk in the first inning to manufacture a run. Phil Stockman, just off a silver medal performance in the Olympics with the Australian national team, walked Rudy Gomez to start the ballgame. Gomez went to second base when Alberto Callaspo's ground out popped out of the mitt of the first baseman Jesus Cota. So Gomez went to second on that play, then went to third on a wild pitch. After a strikeout, there were 2 outs. And Derek Gibson hit a little ground ball off the first base line. Cota made the play, and Stockman covered for the out at first, but the throw was away from Stockman for an error that brought Gomez in. Travs were up 1-0. The Diablos immediately came back in the second inning to get 2 men on base as Carlos Quentin was hit by a pitch from Joe Saunders. That was the 41st time Quentin was hit by a pitch this year in the minor leagues. That's a brand new all-time minor league record, and Quentin would be hit by another pitch later in the game. But the first 2 men making it on in the second inning, advancing on a sacrifice, and then Saunders threw a little bit more of fly in the ointment by walking Matt Morgan, so the bases were loaded with 1 out. But Saunders came back to strike out Todd West on 3 pitches and ended the inning as Victor Hall popped out to short. Saunders pitched a perfect 3rd inning, and then in the top of the 4th inning ran into more trouble. Quentin had a leadoff single. DeRosa took a walk, so 2 on and nobody out. But Saunders returned to strike out Haley. He got Morgan to fly to right field, and Jeff Mathis ended the inning by picking DeRosa off of first. So the Travs went into the bottom of the 4th inning leading 1-0, and with 1 out, Phil Stockman started to get hit hard. Mike Elwood a double to right center field with 1 out. He would go to third base when Tommy Murphy singled up the middle. Murphy would steal second with Rudy Gomez at the plate. And Gomez, remember, his last 5 RBIs coming onto this ballgame coming on home runs, and Rudy would not disappoint. Gomez not choking up. In fact, he's hanging that last pinky off the end of the bat. 2-2 pitch, swinging a drive to center. Hit it well. Going back, Williams, and it's gone! A 3-run homer for Rudy Gomez as he goes deep for the 2nd consecutive game. 4-0 Arkansas. Gomez hit a grand slam last Saturday in Midland. Hit the solo home run yesterday, and now it's his 3rd home run in a week. Rudy had gone the first 105 games with only 2 homers, and then hits 3 home runs over 5 games. So Gomez put the Travs ahead 4-0, and amazingly, only 1 more Trav base runner would make it on for the remainder of the game. Outstanding job by left-handed Chris Cervantes as he sent down every batter he faced over 3 2/3 innings, and Bill White only allowed a walk in his 8th inning of work. It was up to the Trav pitchers to hold on to this one. Saunders allowed 2 more base hits to start the 5th inning, a single by West and a drag bunt by Vic Hall. And then Marlon Williams with a flyout to right field inexplicably. Hall tried to advance to second base on that flyout, and Gordo pegged him at second. Saunders struck out the side in the 6th and passed the game on to Ben Grzelowski for a perfect 7th inning. Grzelowski returned for the 8th, but struggled with his control, walking Williams and Duren, and that brought on Andrade. Andrade didn't look sharp at the outset as Jesus Cota got a base hit to right field to load the bases with nobody out. But Andrade, showing the heart of a closer, got Carlos Quentin, who represented the tying run, to bounce into a double play, 5-4-3, which scored Williams with El Paso's only run of the game. And then Andrade in the 9th inning went on to strike out all 4 batters he faced as West, who was up with 2 outs, had a 2-strike count. He swung and missed at a curveball that bounced away from Mathis. And Andrade came back to strike out Hall to end the ball game. So the win goes to Saunders with 6 scoreless innings. Saunders is 4-2. Stockman suffers the loss and drops to 1-2. Steve Andrade saves his 8th of the season. The Travs and the Diablos finish their season series. El Paso wins that season series 9-6. And folks, it is the end of an era as the Travelers and the Diablos have played their final game, at least in the history of the Texas League. Right now we'll have a break. We'll return for a look at all the scores from the Majors and the Texas League on the Southwest Airlines out-of-town scoreboard. That's after a break on the Ticket Total Sports 1380.
First one, aisle 5, like the other. Come on. Del Tony Stewart, you jumped the green flag again. Hey, stop throwing cereal boxes at me. Whatever, stop grabbing my car. Well, that's looks like you're buying me that Coke.
NASCAR fans have a one-track mind.
Get your Coke so that you choose a register.
Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of NASCAR. Coke, real. Slush variety. Sonic's got it, others don't. The hotter it gets outside, the more choices you need to chill down on the inside. Nothing compares to Sonic's famous slushes, with classic flavors like cherry, grape, and orange. Real fresh sweet slushes like lemon berry, strawberry, and lime. You can even mix and match flavors to create your very own slush. Or try the creation, our intense new Powerade slush, available for a limited time.
Standby.
So hurry.
Ready, set, go.
Travs win it 4-1 tonight and finish this series with the Diablos with their first win of the final homestand of the 2004 season. Of course, we'll be back to action tomorrow night as the Midland Rockhounds return to town. Let's have a look at all the scores from the Majors and the Texas League on the Southwest Airlines out-of-town scoreboard. We'll begin in the American League, where there's a few games in progress. Cleveland and the White Sox went through a long rain delay, and currently they're in the 5th in Cleveland. No score. Top 9 in Texas. The Rangers lead the Orioles 4-3 as the Texas Rangers look to send the O's to their 12th consecutive loss. They're playing extra at Seattle in the second game of a doubleheader. Kansas City and Seattle tied at 3. In the first game of that doubleheader, Kansas City lost to Seattle 9-7. Bucky Jacobson hit his 9th home run of the season. Matt Thornton picked up his first win. Darryl May, the loser, fell to 9-15. J.J. Putz saved his 5th. Yankees 18-6, a beating of the Toronto Blue Jays as Tony Clark leads a 6-home run attack with a 3-home run game. Now 15 on the season for the backup first baseman for the Yankees, Ruben Sierra, Gary Sheffield, and Alex Rodriguez also with home runs. Kevin Brown, the winner, is 10-3. Ted Lilly falls to 9-9. Mariano Rivera saves his 45th. The win for the Yankees, their 3rd straight. That'll keep them in front of the Red Sox by 5.5 games. Boston, led by Pedro Martinez, in a 5-1 victory over the Detroit Tigers. Pedro struck out 8 batters in 7 innings, allowed 4 hits and 1 run as he moves to 14-5. Jeremy Bonderman, the losing pitcher, falls to 7-11. Those are the games besides the one in Anaheim as the Minnesota Twins end the Angels' winning streak at 9 in a row. Johan Santana dominates the Angels for his 15th win of the year. Santana, who will get some votes for American League Cy Young Award, struck out 6 on 1 walk, 1 run on 4 hits in 7 innings. Bartolo Colon gave up 5 runs in 6 innings as he falls to 13-10. The Angels, with that loss, they have a chance of falling behind the Oakland A's. A's today are leading Tampa Bay 5-4 at the 8th inning in Oakland. So if the A's hold on to that lead, they'll get to 2 games ahead of the Angels. Anaheim also falling a game and a half off the pace in the wild card spot. To the National League now, and Atlanta defeats the San Francisco Giants 9-3 as Paul Bird outduels Jason Schmidt. Bird goes 6 innings, allowing only 1 run on 4 hits. Schmidt, though he struck out 8 batters in 3 2/3, was torched for 6 runs on 10 hits as he suffered his 6th loss of the year. Braves collected 15 hits in the win. Rafael Furcal went 4 for 5 with 4 runs batted in, and the Braves win their 6th consecutive outing. Dodgers came from behind to defeat the New York Mets 4-2. Adrian Beltre went 5 for 5 with his major league leading 42nd home run. That win for the Dodgers puts them to 5 ahead of the Giants in the National League West Division. St. Louis over Pittsburgh 6-4. It's the Cards' 2nd straight in the Berg. Matt Morris, the winner, is 14-8. Isringhausen saved his 38th of the year. Reggie Sanders and Jim Edmonds hit homers. That's 36 for Edmonds. The Bucks got back-to-back home runs in the 4th inning from Tyke Redmond and Jason Bay. Bay leads all rookie players in baseball with 20 home runs on the year. Chicago Cubs made it a rally, but they fell behind too early. There was a 7-2 lead for the Astros, and the Astros hold on for the 7-6 win. Roger Clemens, the winning pitcher, is 14-4. Brad Lidge saved his 18th of the season, and the Astros pulled it within 5 of the Cubs in the wild card spot. So do the Florida Marlins. Florida scored 2 runs in the 8th and defeat the Rockies 4-3 in Miami. Carl Pavano, the winner, is 15-5. Juan Encarnacion hit his 14th home run, and Armando Benitez saved his 38th. The Fish are 5 games in back of the Cubs. San Diego Padres also pick up a game in the wild card standings. They're one game in back of the Cubbies. Pods defeat the Expos tonight 5-2 in Montreal. Phil Nevin and Ramon Hernandez back up Jake Peavy with home runs. Peavy won his 11th of the season against his 3 losses. Trevor Hoffman saved his 33rd. Another final score comes out of Philadelphia. The Phillies win it with a run in the bottom of the 9th inning, 4-3 over the Milwaukee Brewers. Placido Polanco hit a home run, his 12th. Tim Worrell, the winner, is 4-5. Lyle Overbay hit his 14th home run of the year. Last final comes out of Cincinnati. Arizona doubles up the Reds 6-3. Casey Fossum won his 4th of the year against 12 losses. Greg Aquino saved his 9th of the season. Now we'll slide on over to the Texas League side of things. You see that we didn't have any finals the last time we looked, and still no finals yet. Round Rock trailing Tulsa 5-3 in the 8th inning. That game at the Dell Diamond, Round Rock was going for the 4-game sweep. Wichita Wranglers giving up 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning as the San Antonio Missions have come from behind to lead at 3-2 heading into the top of the 9th inning. Frisco can get back ahead by 5 games with just 8 games to go. Frisco leading Midland 7-3 in the top of the 8th inning. And so you're up to date now across the Texas League and the majors on the Southwest Airlines out-of-town scoreboard. Fans, don't forget, the only place you can go online for the low fares from Southwest Airlines is at www.southwest.com. We'll come back to wrap up the broadcast as the Travs defeat the Diablos tonight by a 4-1 final score. Final segment comes up after a break on the Ticket Total Sports 1380.
$1 million signing bonuses? $1 million incentive clauses? Yes. Professional athletes get paid a lot. But hey, you expect them to. After all, they're in the big league. Now, Allstate's in the big league, but that doesn't mean you have to pay a lot. In fact, you may be surprised to learn that 7 out of 10 drivers who switch their auto insurance to Allstate said they saved money. And you can always expect great service, even if your Allstate agent happens to pull a hamstring playing softball. Big league insurance for less. That's Allstate stands. Are you in good hands?
For more information, visit your local Allstate agent. Call 1-800-ALLSTATE or click on allstate.com. Allstate, proud sponsor of the 2004 U.S. Olympic team. Based on information reported by new Allstate customers, insurance subject to availability and qualifications. Allstate Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Northbrook, Illinois. Synonymous. Words alike in significance and meaning, like summer and baseball. Baseball and Ray Winter Field. Ray Winter Field and hot dogs. Hot dogs and Coca-Cola. Yes, Coke is joining the Travs All-Star lineup this summer right alongside the future Anaheim Angels wearing the Travelers uniform. Enjoy the best value in family entertainment in Central Arkansas. Ray Winter Field, the Arkansas Travelers, and Coke. 3 summer classics. Call 664-1555 or visit our website at travs.com.
Finishing off the broadcast here on the Ticket, Total Sports 1380. Travs tonight defeat the Diablos by a 4-1 final score, and that'll end a 4-game losing streak for the Travs. Also, they'd lost 5 consecutive games to the Diablos. It also ends the Diablos' domination at Ray Winder. El Paso had won all 6 outings at Ray Winder Field until tonight. Most of that because of the starting pitching of Joe Saunders. Saunders goes 6 scoreless innings, allows only 4 hits, 2 runs. He strikes out 6. He wins his 4th of the season. Also, much of that due to the bat of Rudy Gomez. Gomez, patient in his first 2 plate appearances, took a couple walks, also scored the first run. A 3-run bomb in the 4th was the last Trav to connect on a base hit, and that was enough. Gomez's 5th home run of the season put the Travs ahead 4-0, and they hold on for the 4-1 win. For their efforts tonight, Joe Saunders and Rudy Gomez will share tonight's BC Powder Player of the Game award. Here are the final totals. The Diablos score 1 run on 5 hits. They commit an error. They leave 8 runners on. The Travs score 4 runs on 4 base hits. No errors committed. 6 runners left on the bases. Saunders, the winner, is 4-2. Phil Stockman suffers the loss. Stockman falls to 1-2. The save for Steve Andrade. 2 scoreless innings for Steve. He strikes out 4, and it's his 8th of the year. Time of game, 2 hours, 42 minutes. They paid attendance tonight, 2,582. Travs run their record at 24-38 on the season in the second half. Overall, 57-74, while El Paso drops to 22-37. Overall record for El Paso is at 46-83. Well, it's the end of an era as the Travs and the Diablos have played their final game. They've been hooking up in Texas League duels every season with the exception of 1971 since Arkansas joined the Texas League in 1960. Hello? Since the Travs had joined the Texas League in 1966. So as we say goodbye to one team, we'll say hello to another next year when the Springfield Cardinals join the Texas League for the 2005 season. But a lot of memories from El Paso, Texas, one of the great baseball cities of the 70s, 80s, and 90s, but without baseball possibly for the 2005 season, and that certainly is a sad story. So good luck to the Arizona Diamondbacks AA affiliate, wherever they end up for next year. And good luck to the baseball fans out in El Paso. We can only hope that you find a baseball team that has treated you as well as the El Paso Diablos had for most of their existence. This is Phil Elson saying make sure you join us tomorrow afternoon as the Travs battle against the Midland Rockhounds with a 3 o'clock first pitch. Stephen Bondurant takes the hill for the Midland Rockhounds at 2-2 and a 5.46 ERA. Arkansas righty David Gill will pitch. Gill 2-6 with an ERA at 6.02. 3 o'clock first pitch tomorrow night. ITT Tech pregame show at 2:45 right here tomorrow afternoon on the Ticket, Total Sports 1380. Thanks to Michael Watt at the studios, and thanks to you for everyone tuning in tonight, whether you listen on the Ticket, Total Sports 1380, or online at Travs.com. So long and good night. Once again, the final score, the Arkansas Travelers 4 and the El Paso Diablos 1. It's a wrap, folks. We'll be talking baseball again tomorrow afternoon.